and welcome to the some episode in the third season of Second Sons. I believe it's the 14th episode, but I could be wrong. Buzz and I disagree on the numbering, and it's different in the podcast feed and different in the YouTube feed. Hashtag professional. As always, I am Roy Rogers. Previously at the New York City Meta, currently the Philadelphia Meta. There's actually nothing on my TV today. Ala is done watching some crazy documentary on Amazon. As always, I am joined by Aaron Glazer, who is not allowed to speak during this segment. But we are joined by our regular hosts, live from Concrud. Chris Schoenthal, how you doing, my friend? You recovering all right?
Somehow I managed to dodge the Concrud itself so far, knock on wood. But yeah, I'm recovering. Looking forward to Gen Con next week. So yesterday I got to start thinking about Thrones again, so that was exciting.
Absolutely. We're also joined by our production guru and token European, Buzz Aldrin. How you doing, Buzz?
Great. Just won a Dota game, so we're late.
So Buzz is. We're gonna get pure Buzz at the moment. He is flying high. And then we are joined by two special guests, an almost Second Son host, founder of the Wars to Come, everyone's favorite Game of Thrones player, Jesse Carpenter. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Jesse and I got to hang out this past weekend. It was kind of awesome. Yep. And then we're joined for the first time. I think we tried to have Brad on one other time before and it didn't work out. But joining us live from Wausau, I can never spell, as Jake Platt points out every time I talk to him, is my former Team Tyrell teammate, Brad Eamon. How you doing, Brad?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. So is the store open, or did you close the store?
No. So we closed at 8 o'clock. It's currently 9 o'clock here. I'm done at 9 o'clock normally.
Okay, cool. All right. So we're going to, Buzz, are you ready to jump right into the first segment that we talked about? Like, do you have it ready?
Did we talk about the segments?
We did. We talked about I went over the thing. I said what the first segment was. It was spoiler. Are you ready for that?
Oh, I sent you so you could do an Instagram. But I can find it somewhere. It won't take me forever.
It won't take you forever. So I'm going to continue to do this wonderful introduction. So FFG provided us with a fantastic spoiler for the next chapter pack, which we would normally have waited because this episode has been a shit show behind the scenes to do this. But the pack will be out at Gen Con, and we're not recording another episode before Gen Con. So we are going to talk a little bit about this exclusive spoiler that will go up on our Instagram after this episode. So the Europeans can wake up to it, and the Americans can fall asleep to it. Did you get it yet, Buzz? I'm running out of abilities to kill time. Okay.
I found the one I sent you, the Instagram picture, not the.
Okay.
Picture.
Do you want me to just read the card and then you can put it up?
Found it. 3,
Found it? Oh.
2, 1. It's kind of up.
It's up. Okay. So our spoiler card is White Harbor, which is a 3-cost, loyal, unique Stark location. It's House Manderley and the North, and it has this reaction. After you win a challenge, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. The losing opponent chooses one of those cards, add that card to your hand, and place the other on the bottom of your deck. And Brad, since you're our newest guest here, what do you think of this card?
I do not like it. I honestly am very not fond of cards that let your opponent make the decision. You're always going to get the worst of the 2 cards. $3 is a lot for that location. At least you get a card no matter what, unlike Gates, but as far as card draw goes, if you compare that to, say, like, I don't know, Dorn, I would say that one is clearly better than the other. But yeah, I feel like if you show them the 2 cards, they're just going to give them whatever's not the worst for them. The fact that they have control over that is bad. I have no idea how I guess you could have made it better without you just making the decision, and then it's too good. So,
anybody else? Jesse?
It's awful. I hate it. I would never pay $3 for this card. Not only are you I think like people think it's fine, which is whatever, but like I agree with Eamon a lot here. I mean, not only are you letting them choose, but you're giving them what's in your hand. Like, I could play off the Gold Town for 1 and draw a card and have 3 icons. That's better to me.
But can you do it every turn? Every turn.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think this card would have been a good start card if it came out pack 1, but now we have Wyman, and now we're seeing Gates of Winterfell back in decks. Like, I just think when it comes down to it, like, this will be just too expensive. Like, the curve for Stark locations, not that I've built, like, Stark decks over and over recently, but 3 is just too much. Like, Winterfell costs 4, and you have to run 3 of it. So I just don't
have
think
another
there's a
thing
lot
to
of value.
add, by the way. So, like, when you hit a top 16 and they get to see your deck list, if you're going to show them 2 cards of your deck and you have any one of that all and they know that they just buried it, that is insanely good for them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you only run 1 put to the sword and I put it to the bottom of your deck? Guess I'm not seeing that again.
I will let the military go unopposed.
Yeah. Oh, military for 14, you got it. You got it, Fred.
7 gold
Yeah.
standing up.
Another
Buzz?
big difference with towards Dorn is you have to commit. You have to do something to win a challenge. Dorn, don't have to commit anything to just draw. So, ugh.
Are we getting Dorn is fucking busted? Let's talk about this card.
Aaron or Schoenthal?
So I'm playing it. Like, I'm playing probably a 2 of in most of my Stark decks. I think that just getting more cards in Stark has extra value. It's like, if they're giving you cheap shit, cool, Wyman food. Like, there's very little, like, I'm fine just not running cards that I don't want to see as a general rule. And, like, is that always going to be the case? No, I feel like I'm up with an awful lot of economy. But, like, cool, that's cards I wouldn't otherwise be drawing, and it's not like I'm giving up my draw phase or anything else for this. Like, I think it's strictly better than Gates of Winterfell, and that it's probably going to give you about 2 cards a turn, and I'll take about 2 cards a turn.
But Stark often needs to be ahead. They are a get ahead, stay ahead faction, right? And pitching 3 gold towards maybe getting a good card sometimes.
So even if you're not getting a good card with it, maybe sometimes, you're still filtering out your deck. Like, there's never a point where you're not, like, getting through cards, and, like, just getting through cards is a plus.
You're
like,
not
getting
filtering
Flame
through
Soak
your
is a
deck.
plus. Sure, they're
Sure.
filtering through your deck. Look, it's not
They're
ideal.
filtering through your deck.
I would obviously rather have it be my choice, right? But, like, since we can't redesign the card as is a card I would play. Like, I run what's the stupid Stark location that I hate? Gaze of
Gates of
Winterfell
Winterfell.
sometimes. Yeah, I absolutely hate Gaze of Winterfell. It just takes those slots in my deck. I'd rather have this.
Yeah,
I think
I agree with Aaron on this one. I think card advantage is card advantage. Not to be too snide about it, but I don't really see I see Brad's point, I guess, about them knowing if you're only going to have a certain number of a card in your deck, or if it's a card that you're likely not running a bunch of, that they'll know that they don't have to play around that. But I think that compared to the fact that you're just filtering through your deck so fast is pretty negligible downside.
But I think
So I will. What's up, Buzz? Actually, you
okay.
can go.
So I just gonna for what Aaron said, that it takes my Gates of Winterfell or whatever it's called slot. Sure.
Gates of Winterfell is what it's called.
Yeah, sure. Take that spot because it sucks. Doesn't mean this card is good.
It might not
So,
be good, but it's certainly
it's
better. And
overcosted.
Winterfell is playable.
Right.
All right.
Right.
But
Better when you need card advantage is the
So,
idea.
the
idea
advantage.
is
So we need to compare it to the great advantage with Stark is there's literally another Stark draw card. It costs 2. Look at the top card. If it's a Stark card, you always add it to your hand. If it's not, it goes on the top. Right? You're paying 2 for that. Here you're paying 3 to always guarantee you a card, but your opponent picks your best card. I think.
But it's not, and it's not even a card. It could be up to 6 cards if you win 6 challenges.
No.
Yeah.
It kneels.
It
does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't kneel.
No, it
I don't think it does.
No. After you win a challenge.
Oh, after you win a challenge. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
that's much better then. I thought it was
Yeah.
once a turn.
No,
I thought it was
certainly
once
not.
a turn.
No.
I read the card.
Okay.
It's all the extra cards. Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've all read the card, anybody want to reevaluate?
No, I'm
So it's
fine.
Not
every
really.
time you win it. Every time you win any
challenge,
challenge.
it figures. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought
think
is it on attack?
maybe
It's not on attack.
Not attack.
after you win a challenge. Sure,
That's much
maybe
better then.
maybe you put it in your deck and maybe you play it, but you wouldn't play it in a faction.
Sure, but it's not in another faction, right? Like that's all cool. Like, and if I could redesign it, I would. And if I could put another faction, I wouldn't play it. However, all of that is not true. What is true is it's a start card, and it has a place in start decks. Like,
Sure. I can.
Also, relative
I would
positives
maybe
that
play it,
works.
but I don't want to. I think it's a bad card.
I mean, I dislike it, but if Aaron likes it, means I will have to play it. Just
How
will put the cards in my deck.
many times do you think you have to fire that a turn for it to be worth it? Like, if you hit it once every turn from the turn you play it until the end of the game, one time every turn, do you think it's worth the $3?
no,
No,
If you're
but
only,
I think,
if you're
but
only
I,
winning
but I'm,
one challenge a turn.
I get
maybe
it. This was just for the sake of the argument. So, like, we need
Yeah.
to say that 2 times is like when it's worth it. Then
I mean, if I'm hitting it
Sure.
once sometimes, and 2 times most of the time, sure. And sometimes I'm going to hit it randomly, like 4 times, right? Like it's not going to be linear that way. If I'm not hitting it at least 2 times a turn, in general, I've lost the game, right? Like, it's not like I have an ace, so I'm just passive powering and shrugging off challenges. I have to actually win challenges.
and how much do you think that like paying $3 into that detracts you from winning the game?
One
Don't.
more than a
I-
card that only gets start cards? I don't think that much.
Yeah, and I think another major point is that Stark had, like, I feel like we're moving away from economy being the limiting factor it has been with the non-limited economy. If you can run either 11 or 12 economy cards, you're much less likely to be Gold Slayer. And you also have 10 plots to play with, right? Because, like, why else would you run another agenda? So since you have 10 plots, you have room for both gold plots and you have room for that extra economy. So, like, there should be less times when you're starving for gold in any house anymore. Or at least once all the other non-limited comes out, Stark just already happens to be.
Is there anything that discarding the cards that you'd be getting off of that are worthless has any advantage for you? Like, I don't know the card pool that well, but is there anything that you can pitch cards to that would be strong with that? As in, like, 'cause once you hit the mid to late game, anything you flip
Stark
up that's in your
Dragon.
dead pile, anything that
Yeah.
you flip up that's in your dead pile, you're getting.
This
Like,
card is actually good in Stark Dragon.
Yeah, this card's amazing in Stark
They're
Dragon. But,
winning a
like,
lot of challenges, and they have that card engine in the form of Hisdar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because that would
not
make
bad.
sense if you can do something with the 1 or 2 cards you get that are all, because like a lot of the times they're going to be worthless econ that you don't need, or characters that are in your dead pile. So if you can actually like leverage those cards to do something with them, like Plaza, like you said, like with the target splash, like that makes sense
well, there's
because
also
then they're
this
not
card.
useless.
It's called Flea Bottom. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Well, but you need a
But
reason.
it's-
You need a way to get the cards into for Flea Bottom, right? Stark natively, I don't believe, has a discard engine.
If
right?
I'm
Except
drawing,
reserve.
if I'm
You just draw
drawing
past reserve.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm drawing 3 cards a turn, I'm gonna fucking hit reserve fairly often.
Sometimes not with Stark, but yeah, I get your point.
It also is a payoff for defending, which is kind of cool. Like winning challenges on defense doesn't usually have a huge advantage outside of like renown for your guys, but that's actually like a payoff to defending a challenge. It makes defending feel a lot better if you're actually going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
All right. Are we good? Does anyone else have any other thoughts about our spoiler? All right. Well, thank you again very much, FFG, for giving us this card. It is in the next chapter pack, which should be released next week at Gen Con, so fun times. But we are going to jump into our first full segment, which is going to talk kind of about something we've been talking about the last 2 or 3 episodes, which is, and we spent a lot of time last episode to Aaron's bemusement talking about the contents of the starter decks. But pretty soon, I believe at Gen Con, I'm pretty sure they'll be for sale. And then there'll be, Brad, do you know when the starter decks are actually going to be on sale?
Not the actual street date. We did order them already though, so they're actually orderable, and you can order them on FFG's website right now. So
sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
They'll be on the streets. And we talked a lot about the actual contents, but one of the reasons why we wanted to have Brad on the show was to talk about sort of how they work as a new player experience and whether or not they are actually what our community desperately seems to want them to be. And I know Brad works at a game store, spoiler alert, just for our audio listeners who can't see that he's got like the last 5 years of Magic cards behind him. Brad, what do you think of the starter decks?
So overall, I think that they are just absolutely awful. I think that they're a bad product to carry. I think that they're bad for us to have outside of like letting people pre-order them. I think that they're bad from a sales standpoint. I think all around they're bad. I have a list of reasons, and I can go through them and explain kind of why I feel on them. Okay, so the first thing that I hate, just strictly from a retail aspect, so I am not like this. Like, I'm not a big pusher of products. I don't do like high stress sales or something. But just from a point of sales, I would rather sell a core set than sell one of these. Going to make more money if I sell a core set rather than sell one of these. The profit margin on these is slightly higher than a core set, but at the end of the day, if I sell a $15 pack, I'm making the store about $7.30 roughly. And if I sell a core set, I'm making the store about $18. So just from a sales point of view, like if I have the choice between would I sell a core set, would I sell one of these packs, I would want to sell a core set. Now, I don't sell products like that because I don't like to condone garbage products. But I will go through other reasons with that. So first is it's going to be horrible for game store employees to recommend this. If I cannot find a scenario with these things where I would recommend them to any player at all, ever. And there's a lot of reasons why. Number one, the little starter deck that you get, it doesn't come with rules for the game, which is super important. So a lot of people were pitching that like, oh, you take this into a competitive event that you don't have a deck for or whatever. But outside of that event, you have no RRG, you have no rule book, you have no rules for multiplayer, no deck building construction rules, none of that stuff. So anything that you need to know outside of what comes in that little pack, you have absolutely no access to. You can use the internet to find these things, obviously, but having a tangible rule book, I think, is a very good thing, especially for a new player. I would say that the one thing that's okay with these, by the way, if anybody wants to like interrupt in the middle, go ahead or ask anything.
Do you know that for sure? Have we seen one in the wild yet?
They're going to come in the size of a plastic pack, like a chapter pack. There's no way there can be a rule book in it. Like you might get 2 explanations of something like the rules for what's in the pack, but like, what are you going to have a little footnote of this is what renown is? Like, you're not going to get a timing structure. You're not going to get an extensive
RRG. I get that.
I think at most it would. I don't think it even will, but I think at most we'll get like the structure of a round, like the action windows at most. But I don't think we'll get that. I think we will get
like going the house
to the house.
Yeah, I think you'll get a little bit of flavor, and maybe like a couple of descriptions of rules. Maybe like he said with the turn. Flavor-wise, I think these things are about on point with what the core set is, and no strikes against FFG. I honestly love most of their core sets for their games because the Game of Thrones core set does a really good job of showing you what the houses are going to play and feel like. So if you read the Stark cards without knowing how to play the game, you could draw the conclusion that it's important for Stark to participate in military challenges.
Unless you like Martell.
Yeah. Martell is a little goofy, but it gives you like the Ariane Hoda interaction, which it seems like you're going to do a lot of weird things during the challenge phase, right? And there's also Sunspear, which means that you plan to lose some things and have it be advantageous for you. And then you look at Tyrell.
Just saying Sunspear excites me.
Right. But I could be right. So this is, like I said, this is just the core. This is just the core. And then you go into Night's Watch, which, like, one of the first things that I realized about Night's Watch looking at the core was that I didn't have a 0-drop location reducer. And in that plot, I had meager contribution, right? And Old Forest Hunter. So, like, I'm making Econ a slightly different way, either from taking it from you or leveraging the cards in my hand. And it's like, well, how do I leverage the cards in my hand? Oh, you have this bird that allows you to draw extra cards every turn. And then, all right, so what am I going to win the game with? Oh, you get a ranging party. Like, it's a cost-effective, huge guy. Like, you don't have a bunch of renowned lords and ladies or anything. And then out of the core, you had Jon Snow as well, which you're like, okay, he's going to participate in every challenge. That's how I'm going to win the game, is by getting Jon out and then have him participate in every challenge that I make. And then you get to, like, Greyjoy, and, you know, you have, like, the whole unopposed stealth theme. Like, I'm going to make it so they can't beat me because they can't participate with me, right? And then we have We Do Not So, like, oh, if they don't block me, I can blow their stuff up. I see how this is going. It looks like this faction has location control. it's important not to get blocked. And what it didn't Rise of the Kraken come in the core too?
No, that was in the first cycle.
Was that the
First
first
cycle.
cycle?
No.
Okay.
For pack
But yeah,
one of the
but
first.
you
Right?
you had
in the core.
Oh,
you had-
rises. I thought you. I'm sorry.
Risen
Oh,
from the
yeah.
sea.
The plot is in the cycle. Are you talking about the event or the plot?
the plot.
Plot
Oh, yeah,
is
there
in
was
the
no
cycle.
Okay. But anyway, so you just get like the stealth going unopposed with Theon, going unopposed with Asha and standing there like, okay, I get it. But that's what I mean. Like flavor-wise, I think that these are on par with the core sets of doing a good job of explaining how the houses are going to work and what you should expect from them when you play it. So that is one thing I give the core set, that they feel like the core set and these packs feel okay in that aspect. Lannister feels really good in the core set because you get the whole families here. You get Tyrion and Tywin and Cersei, and intrigue's important to us, right? So that is not a strike against them. I think that is like the one aspect of that product that is okay, is the flavor of it is still there.
So
Huge-
question for from chat though, Brad. So
Okay, what's up?
they want to know, is the pitch, because go back to your sort of earlier points, is the pitch maybe for folks who can't go 3x core right out of the gate but still want 1x of all stuff for a couple of houses?
Okay,
they don't
so
want
price wise, if you're going to spend $15 on just your Stark deck, that kind of makes sense. But at the same time, who's going to teach you how to play the game? Right, so that's like my
You.
big issue with that is so you know how to play the game and you have your Stark deck, but you can't play with anybody else because you don't have any other cards.
No, I think you meant you specifically, not you generally.
So like me as a story player. Okay, so I'm gonna crack open another one of these, and then we're gonna play. So we'll say I have a demo Greyjoy deck or whatever, and they buy a demo Lannister deck. After this demo ends and they leave, they can play against people that also have Thrones cards, but they cannot teach anyone to play Thrones. Now, if they buy both of these packs, let's say, they spend $30 and buy mine and buy theirs, we play, they could do that same exact thing by spending $10 more on the core set, having an extensive rule book, an RRG, having 5 more houses to play with. So, like, you're going to get sick of your Stark deck after you play it.
6 more houses.
Six more houses. I'm thinking of.
Well, 5 more houses in the Night's Watch. We're good. You had it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. So you have none of that stuff. So like after I leave that store with that product in my hand, if I want to go home and say like, oh, I want to teach my brother or my son or my girlfriend to play. Sorry, I have no other product. I don't have a rule book. Oh, you have a question? I can't answer it because we have nothing to reference. So that's what my beef with it is. And if you already are playing with people who know how to play the game, they should borrow you a deck. And that's like a big strike against the community. If we can't borrow people decks to show them how to play the game, like why would you have to buy? Like if somebody says, "Hey, can you teach me how to play Game of Thrones?" to a Game of Thrones player, and they say, "Yeah, go buy one of those $15 starters. Come back and I'll show you how to play." That's a big problem. Like they should be like, "Yeah, sure, I have 2 decks here. We'll kind of walk you through it. Like we can play with the hands up." And these aren't just like very simple decks with very simple mechanics. There's a lot going on in all. And when you don't have a rule book, it is going to be extremely overwhelming to look at all of these mechanics simultaneously in your deck. Because they're tuned up a little bit. They're tuned up to play against stuff more of a competitive level. But going on with what I have, so I already covered multiple people. Like I can't buy this product, go home and play my girlfriend. Just can't happen. If I buy 2, sure, but if we don't know how to play, the lack of rule book is going to be a big problem. Multiplayer. You get nothing from multiplayer. And I know that a lot of us here don't give a shit about Melee.
No,
But at the
this
same
is a
time-
Melee
Jesse
cast.
and I do. And
Yeah,
Buzz.
so does Buzz.
Let's not get
Oh,
hasty
there you
here.
Don't worry, Brad. Some of us don't give a shit.
Yeah, some of us don't give a shit about Melee, but it is a format that a lot of people enjoy. And if you're looking at, say...
It's
say
a way
the
better intro to the game than... like, Melee's a way better intro to the game than Joust. In my
Right.
opinion. Like,
Just not true.
I think Melee is a much better intro to the game than Joust. I think it's more fun. I think it plays more thematically. I think it's not as competitive, like on a kitchen table setting in most people's kitchens.
Or
So I think I agree with you there. I think Melee should be a big part of like people's intro to the game.
Well, it changes the game from 2 players to 2 to 4 players, which is a big deal. Like the difference for like selling board games, if somebody comes in and they go, I want a game that's good if I play it with me and my son, but I also have to be able to play it with like our 2 family friends or something when they come, right? Like, and if I were to just say just this one starter, that's going to get them none of those things. They can't go home and play with their son. They can't go play with their other 2 friends. None of that happens off this one thing. And realistically, when people come in and they're looking for something, they're one of 2 people with these LCGs. They've either never played an LCG and want to get into one, or want to hear about it, whatever, so they have no experience, or they are extremely experienced, say like somebody used to play Netrunner and the game's canceled now, right? And then they get the deal. So this isn't like a thing to pitch to them, which, because that goes into my next point, which is these are useless to your collection. They are effectively proxies, if you will. So if you play the game and you like it and you buy one of these, you still have to buy everything in the game. You don't get out of that process. You still need the 3 core sets. So you're going to buy your $15 starter and go, wow, I really love Game of Thrones. I want to get in it. And then go buy the 3 $40 starters anyway, which if you just started with a $40 starter, you have one of the 3 that you need. And as a standalone game, like I was saying with the families, I think that Game of Thrones, if you just play it just out of the core set and nothing else and treat it like a board game, it's a fine game. And you can switch houses frequently. And you can do different things frequently. You can play it with 2 to 4 players. It doesn't take too long once you know the rules. And it's got a lot of cards in the box that allows you to just do different things. This one pack has none of those strengths. Going to my next thing. For players that already play the game, I do not understand why you can make a World Championship deck with full arts and then only include one promo in these packs. These entire packs could have been treated just like the World Championship deck, so at least I could pitch them, or at least try to sell them to people that already play the game. Like, it is cool to have more than 3 copies of some things. It is. But, like, if I'm just giving you 3 normal copies, why would you just not buy, like, another one of the pack or something? Like, there's no reason that these shouldn't have been full arts besides the fact that Fantasy Flight didn't want to make them. That's the only thing that I can think of. Because all you have to do is I don't even know if you have to re-template the card, because they already have the templates for the World Championship cards. You just have to change what card it is and stretch the image. Like, it's not much more work. So I'm going to try and pitch this to people that already own it. Like, hey, give me $15 and I'll give you some alternate house card that's not even that cool, and you probably already have a better one from winning prizes in some event somewhere, right? Because that's OP constantly for Fantasy Flight, is cool alternate house cards. Right? Or even the fan run tournaments have cool alternate house cards. Like the regionals that we just did, the top 4 got a Wood Greyjoy house card, right? So this is clearly something that's been in their OP wheelhouse for a long time. So I don't know how, besides the fact that they want to milk completionists, so like anyone that can't, like, gets the itches when they don't have the entire, like, every product ever made for the game, like those people I'm going to sell a set to, guaranteed. But that wouldn't matter if they were full arts or there was only one promo. I'm still selling them a set guaranteed. Right?
Yeah, we're whores. It's not a big deal.
Right. It's not everyone, but there is definitely a very finite group of people that when these were announced that I talked to in a chat group, like, hey, do you want these? Like,
and Ryan Leonard and myself, and we're like, yes, all 8. I need them. Yep.
Right. So that's what I mean is like, but then there's a group of players that I know that this will never ever ever attract, because they'll be like, what's in it? And I'll be like, well, it's a starter deck and you get a promo house card. And they're like, just a promo house card? And it's like, yep. And they're like, nope.
No, also a promo agenda card.
Oh, ooh.
So, I mean, the most... All right, so we have 2 really degenerate whales on this show right now. Jesse Carpenter and Chris Schoenthal. So, who are you purchasing all 8 of the packs for the house card and fealty?
Yep.
For that reason, no.
No, I'm just buying
I'm
them.
purchasing all 8, but not with that express purpose.
Here's the question: you have plans to are you going to tear them apart?
No, certainly not.
Okay,
yeah, they will always be kept together.
Okay,
and that's why I think it's a good product.
So here's the thing: I definitely see where Eamon's coming from, and from being very close to a game store, like very very close. I definitely understand where he's coming from, and I think from a business perspective, they are a very bad decision. They're literally just a cash grab to current players. That's all they are, and they will hit it. Like they will do. Like the sales will be fine, but from a new play, like the dream that when these came out that they'll be great for new players and all this other stuff, they just won't. Like, it just doesn't logistically make sense. But I can't wait for them to come out. I want them really badly, but I definitely get like where he's coming from. But yeah, I play like I'm running a tournament when they come out, like for new players, and like I'm giving them away when people come up and like play me and things like that. So it's just kind of like bonus side like bonus like prize support, things like that. But I am bothered that it doesn't come with a rule book. Like that is like the only part where I like definitely agree with you there. I just think it's hard to sell a core set.
For me, I honestly don't.
It's just
if somebody's coming in and they're interested to buy a game, I literally had 2 guys that came in yesterday, and I sold them an original Netrunner core. Okay, I went through every LCG on the shelf because they were looking for a game, and I gave them a brief like description of what everything is, and they were interested in Netrunner. And then I even told them like the game's no longer being made. I can give you like a deal on the core set, like it's not going to be $40 anymore. And then we sat down in the chairs, and I taught them how to play Netrunner, like core set OG Netrunner, and it was a blast. Like they had a great time. They loved the game. If they decide to buy more Netrunner stuff, or they don't, that game is still independently fun. And with that $40, they could sit down and play each other. No more money, no more BS. And then whoever owns that core set, whoever paid for it, can take it with him and go teach other people how to play as well. And then he can just like, oh, I want to try the Jin Techie deck this time. It doesn't cost more money.
So, like, what part of this eats away at you more? The game shop employee or the game designer, Brad Eamon? Which part is just killing your inside?
Both. This is like, to me, I just feel, and like the way that they pitch it, so like they're like, oh, this is a great way to get new players. And why is it? I see literally no upside to sell someone one of these over a core set, ever.
So I could explain this.
All right,
like,
give me it.
Someone was under fire, like in marketing or some division, and they were like, man, I need to save my job. I need to pitch something. So they pitched this idea, and then they were like, all right, go do it, put it together. And whoever put it together was exceedingly lazy and shitty at their job. And it was just like, fucking here's some packs. And that's how we get these.
And then here's my beef. I got a little bit of beef with Jesse and Schoenthal then. Like, Jesse, you're running a tournament with it. That's kind of a cool idea. Mind you, you could still print the deck lists offline. And then what you should do for that new player tournament is have a bunch of experienced players take on a new player. So, like, everybody has a teammate. You print off those deck lists. You have the good player make those deck lists. You sit down, and then you have that person help coach them so they don't get confused throughout the day. Because if you just put a bunch of people with no rule books in a room that are new and say, learn how to play Thrones, it's going to be a very difficult day for you. Whereas if you had every person partners up with somebody who already knows how to play the game, you would have a smooth day where things would get explained. There wouldn't be a lot of rules questioned, stuff like that. That is what I would do for that event. And the fact that like Nick Hansen is buying a set of these not because he's a new player that wants to learn how to play Game of Thrones. He's a completionist. And the problem is that every time people do this, he's a degenerate. You're just justifying this horrible behavior, and Fantasy Flight is going to continue to make products like this. And I even got to the fact of that, like, I'm going to have to put one of each of these on the shelf. Like, carry one of each of these at all times on the shelf. You know how bad that sucks?
12 whole people are buying this. 12 whole people. 13 at most.
We can't help ourselves, Eamon. We can't help ourselves. We have to have them.
So Brad,
a lot of like a very, very long stream of negativity here. I'm gonna try and break that up a little bit.
Well, okay.
So for me, like all of your points, Brad, are very well taken, and I don't necessarily disagree with you overall that it's not a great business move for game stores to be expected to carry these. But it's something that is given to the community and that we can use in the way that Jesse's talking about and the way that we're planning on using it to teach people without having to dive into our collections. Yes, Jesse and I are degenerate and have 3 and 4 playsets of everything. But, if you're somebody that's like a regular player, but also still wants to teach people, having a set of these and not having to build these out of your collection and have your Tywin Lannisters languishing in a fake starter deck is definitely a plus. And I think that's important. And I think the community will get behind that to some extent and maybe they don't have all 8 of them, but maybe some people like carry 2 of them on them at all times just to teach the game. I understand that they're not a great buy for a new player, and that's totally a fair point. But I don't think that they're a completely useless product.
So
here's my
people would never run out of Tywin Lannisters if they just played the right Tywin. That's all you have.
Pillage Tywin.
Well, Pillage
Anyway.
Tywin, but the argument Chris Schoenthal was made was incorrect unless you accept when the Gulf Stream affects the cardboard and makes Pillage Tywin good. And this deck list,
exactly.
the bad Tywin is in there, so you never have to worry about sleeving up. Sleeving that.
Right, I don't have to worry about getting extra copies of the Pillage Tywin. I don't understand what's so weird about that.
So here's my
I'm playing Leonard's list from last year at Gen Con.
Here's my counterpoint to that. So every other game, like collectible game that isn't an LCG, when they make a starter deck, the starter deck is considered very, 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 very bad. And like mechanically, it is very, 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 very simple. Now they did not do that with these. These are not mechanically simple. So there's not a difference between you handing someone this deck and then you handing someone else some other tier 1 deck that you have already built. Mechanically, okay. So
there's only one stipulation with the decks, right? Like they only made them like post rotation. Is that all it was?
Seems to be.
Yeah. But they still have all of the mechanics that you would find in a normal tier 1 deck.
I didn't realize how bad Greyjoy was going to be after rotation until I saw that deck list.
So
but that's what I mean. I don't think that these are melted down versions of Game of Thrones, though, right? Like mechanically, you still need to know how challenges work. You still need to know how all the phases work, all the action windows, all the plots, renown, intimidate, all that stuff, all of that. So if you're not stripping away any mechanics, how are
you're stripping away synergy? You're stripping away like the idea of trying to put together a cohesive deck in favor of showing the thematics of the houses.
But there still is synergy within those houses. Tyrion is still played with cards that have ambush. Do you get it? You make some intrigue. You get money. You play ambush, guys. Like that's still a synergy. Casterly Rock plus Tyrion is core set synergy. This stuff already existed in the game. Like I said in the little intro,
but I don't have to take it out of my regular collection to build it. Like,
who here does not have 2 Game of Thrones decks, Bill?
I don't know any cards.
Aaron Glazer literally owns no cards.
Boom, got him.
Okay, I don't own cards either. So these are the 2 people, and because we don't own cards, everyone else here has multiple decks built. There's not like you're going out of your way to build starter decks.
Yes, I did until these came out. Like, I absolutely did.
Well, why could you not have handed a new player or some random Greyjoy?
Hand him like Hard House with a Red Door Shaz's and.
That's how we taught Chase's little brother how to play the game. Here's a Greyjoy deck. Learn how to play.
You mean Jake? You mean Jake Flat? Chase's little brother?
No, Chase's little brother is like 9 or something, and he beat Peters for sure.
Yeah, Jake Flat. That's what I said.
He beat John Peters. He beat John Peters on like his 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever these were his Thrones games with a Greyjoy's War to Come deck. He literally plays Yu-Gi-Oh. He never plays Thrones. And they're like, here you go play in a tournament. I think either way, I think all of these routes are bad. I don't think that the decks they designed are good for teaching people how to play the game. I think that a core set is about as close as you can get because it does strip a lot of stuff back, and the game is really, really, really slow, and you don't have to get Ballard or something. The plots aren't that like huge and oppressive.
You don't get Ballard in these decks either.
Do they use Ballard? Okay, that's the same thing as core set.
Exactly.
But that's what I mean. Is like they're not more stripped down than a core set. That's what I mean. You have to get these a starter product has to be more alluring to me than selling somebody the core set that costs $25 more and comes with a million more things and rules that they can use when I'm not around.
Like I said, I'm not disagreeing with your perspective that it's better for the new player to buy a core set. I'm not arguing that.
So it's if I buy one, I can use them to teach people how to play the game.
Yeah.
Okay. And now what bothers
how
me...
you should teach people to play the game?
Iron Throne.
No, first edition.
Shut up,
All the
Glazer.
best players.
Mute him, Buzz.
First edition.
Mute him, Buzz.
Buzz
And
agrees.
that's fine, I guess. Like, I would... If I was going to teach a new player, usually when you teach somebody how to play, like from a store standpoint, they buy, for me, this is a store standpoint, they buy the product, and then I teach them how to play using the product.
Right. I think there's a disconnect between the store standpoint and the community standpoint, and that's totally
That's
fine.
the opinion that I'm
yeah,
here for.
and
so.
right, and like I said, from a store perspective, I don't disagree with any of your arguments that it's not a great product for the stores to sell. I'm not going to disagree with that.
I don't know how for players, how are these not full arts? Like, really? Like, what excuse is there for these not to be full arts?
There's no excuse.
Right. It's like if you're going to make the world champ decks and make those full arts, but you wouldn't make these full arts to
here's the excuse that Jesse and I'll use on you, is if they were full art decks, we'd have to buy 3 of each, and you know how fucking
Yeah.
that would be.
So really, FFG was just looking out for the whales. It was
That's
just,
right.
You know,
When they announced they weren't full arts, it was the closest I've ever felt to Kevin Spacey and Seven. To be honest with you.
All right, so I have one last question, Brad. You've talked a little bit around it, because then we need to talk about what chat's currently rioting about, talking about Gen Con. So how does this compare, though, to other pre-existing... Talking a little bit about it from a game design perspective. Like, how does it compare, though, explicitly, like Planeswalker decks and things like that, to other sort of entry-level products that's out there and exists?
I mean, Planeswalker decks are only legal in China, so...
Well,
so most of the time, the sort of products that you're going to have, I can just like grab one down. This is very alluring because, like, to new players, because it has a shiny Planeswalker on the front. Ooh, you also
if these had had foiling, I would have bought like 30 copies each. I swear.
You also can't get, so these Planeswalkers. This is the only place that you can get them,
and they're
they
standard
don't
league,
come in
right?
packs. Yeah, but they're all terrible. Like, nobody.
Right.
I think
They're
a couple
garbage.
have been on like sideboards, but people do like stick these in EDH decks and stuff. So it is kind of cool that
In cubes.
you get in cubes, and you get something that isn't in a pack that you can't get any other way. This also comes with booster packs, which is like here's a nice little intro to the microtransactions you're gonna feel. But but these decks are like melted down hard. And Wizards has gone steps above that as well. So the next thing up from that, they have 60-card dual decks. They're like $20. You get 2 60-card decks, cards from all over Magic, a lot of mechanics. They're not like the greatest thing ever. They're not usually legal for some sort of format. Like, they're not modern cards or something like that. So they're a good way to start and learn how to play. The second step above that is right here. They're called Challenger decks. So this is effectively what these are. For Thrones, because these are 60-card decks with 15-card sideboards that are tuned way, 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 way up. So they're basically knockoffs of standard decks that were hot, but a little bit melted down because they can't give you the $200 land base and stuff like that. But one of these, when it was released, had 2 of like the hottest Planeswalker in standard that was $50, plus one of the gods from Amonkhet that was like $25. So this deck being 25.
How did that affect the price? Not of the starter of the singles.
They went down. It wasn't like a hugely substantial amount, but I think they weren't like $1 the next day. Because you still have to buy these for $25, and you only get, I think, 2 of these in a case of 6. So, like, stores aren't going to keep buying cases if they just get stuck with a bunch of these and let people buy the red ones out. But even this one, like, these are really good value. They're tuned up, like I said, they're knockoffs of standard decks at the time. And these were alluring to people who wanted the cards in them cheaper for than what they could buy them as singles. And that's about it. I'm not going to, like if a kid wants to play in a standard tournament, like, here, take this. Like, sure, that's like a thing that you could do. Spend $25 on this deck, and you could go play in the standard event. But as far as it goes, that's really all that these are going to accomplish. If somebody wants to play in a standard deck, doesn't have a deck, and is going to accept the fact that they're going to get whomped, or the whales that want the cards in it for cheaper than the cost of them normally. And that would be like the comparisons of the products. So that's the 3 that are in Magic. And what my beef is with this deck, and it's hard to do this in LCGs to make starter products because you can't melt the game down enough to make it where it would be a starter deck. Like when you teach somebody the game, you teach them slowly. All of these decks, if you look at the lists, have a ton of shit jammed into them that, like a bunch of mechanics and stuff like that. If you look at a core 2019 booster pack, one of the cards in it, I noticed it this morning, there's a mechanic in Magic called Prowess. That's whenever you play a non-creature spell, the creature gets +1/+1. They have a creature that effectively has that mechanic, but they took the name off of it because it's too complicated. And this is a starter
That's too, yeah.
Yeah, so they melt stuff down to make it easier for players that are new. And that's the people that you pitch those products to. But when a new player comes into a game or something, like wants to play Thrones, I don't know how I pitch this to them.
Sure.
And I don't think that this is designed for that. I seriously think that, like Jesse said, that this is a cash grab for the whales. It's something that you could say, like, oh, let's just buy these starter decks and run a tournament.
I think every meta should have one set on hand, or maybe two sets.
Yeah, and that would be okay for a meta to have them. And somebody in the meta in every meta is probably just going to buy them because they want the alternate cards, and then they'll just swap them out with core set ones that they have 3 of or whatever that they don't need. But yeah, I really, 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 really dislike this product, and that's why I talked to literally every player in our group to see how many we needed, and I told my boss to order 1 for the shelf, because I'm never going to recommend this to a new player, and unless somebody that already knows how to play comes and picks them off the shelf, they're literally never going to move.
All right. Well, I think that basically brings this segment to an end. Currently trying to stop chat from rioting from this Magic video cast that we're on. Next episode of Magic the Amateuring, featuring us. Anyway, we're going to
way better looking than any of us, let's be real.
It's true.
After Gen Con, this turns into a live D&D podcast where Jesse is...
Honest to goodness, my best friend is trying to convince me to find the time to do that. So
yeah, we're not doing it with you. We're doing it with Jesse. It's fine.
Oh, of course.
You're not invited.
Anyway, so we're going to jump into Gen Con. So Glazer, you're going to start us off with the segment that you've been working on, which is what?
12 cards you should probably know for Gen Con. This is aimed at all of our new players because that's what this episode is going to be about. It's new players who haven't been playing in a while. Which actually, players who haven't been playing a while, is our very own Buzz Aldrin, who will not be at Gen Con. But it is 12 cards that you should know that we can discuss and how we think they will affect the Gen Con meta. But I feel like if you don't know what they are, you're going to have trouble there.
Can I guess what number 1 is?
It's in no order, but sure.
Timmett? Son of Timmett?
I mean...
Almost. So close.
12 cards you should know if you're playing Jesse at your kitchen table.
The title does start with a T, so you're correct.
All right. Number 12, Sid and Sandy both insisted to be on the fucking list, and so I'm real happy that it's here. It's the new Aereo Hota because apparently they both forgot it existed against our good friend of the cast, Fred Bird, and got destroyed in repayment.
PT was playing against someone at Kubla Khan who forgot it existed for 3 straight challenges. That was a weird turn for him.
That's how you get them.
How drunk were they?
I'm not clear on that.
He just gave him that winning smile, and they forgot about Aereo as he brought him back to his hand.
Again and again. I mean, what do you think of this card?
Aereo's good. I mean,
yeah, it'll probably get it played against you once at Gen Con.
Yeah, I think in Martell Wars you're looking for it in the big ones. I mean, I still think in general it's the wrong Hota, but it's still good.
In the Dorn's game, Martell Wars deck, it's definitely the right Hota, right?
In the one with the armies, yes. If you're running your Host of the Boneways, yes. Because there's an attrition version of that too, and in your attrition version, it is the wrong.
Correct, but yeah, it's a fine card.
I
like anything that raises claim.
All right. Anyone else? Okay.
Nope.
11. Breaking ties. Doesn't matter at the tournament, but it matters when you're building. How does it affect the way you build decks, Jesse?
Doesn't allow me to play half the fucking card pool.
Yeah.
That's good for the game, right? Oh, this card's non-loyal? Cool. Cool. Guess I'll play one of it and cry.
I mean,
Or zero
that's
team
accurate.
it? Zero team it? No?
Or Heron Hall, or the Tower
Rip.
of the Hand.
So,
Someone in chat just posted breaking ties bounces Jesse's entire kitchen table back to his hand.
yeah.
Forget it.
I have a tendency now to, if I play non-unique and non-loyal, play 3x or 0.
Really?
Yeah.
I play one.
If I play 1, I play 3.
I've been going one. I've been doing the opposite. I've been just playing one and saying I don't want to deal with the fucking tempo hit if I get, you know?
Not
How
that
is
I know
how is
this for a
not
fact.
restricted with flea bottom yet.
Good question,
'cause
Brad.
FFG does not care about their game. And who had Brad?
Maybe if they
there
weren't
under
making
over the
starter
first
products.
one? Hey, who had Brad as the first one to mention the restricted list on this podcast? Holy shit! A long shot of long shots.
Louise's plot's real good. You should definitely be on the lookout for it, particularly
Look,
if
It
you
was
are.
real something.
Louise versus Jesse's entire kitchen table. Who will
Who
win?
wins? The nice man from Brazil.
Worst thing is we've definitely had that conversation with LGB in a chat setting.
I would add to have in mind what will happen when you play against it. What will happen on the next plot phase? Is he setting up for a March or for a Valor? So when you're committing to challenges, what do you use the duped guy to make sure he doesn't bounce back, or do you use the bait him to bounce the non-duped guy so that you have dupes left for Valor?
Has
Martella.
anyone abused breaking ties, bouncing their own shit?
Yeah.
Martell. I use
It
it
has
to
happened, but usually not.
That's-
I
'Cause
play
like-
Trish
'cause like-
and Getex, so
Because you can like flea bottom back a loyal guy and then sack and bounce your dude, then Valor or something. Like that's got to be pretty strong, right? Keep
And
it
it's
sort of
literally
well.
like they seize my Heron Hall and then I just bounce it. It's pretty sweet. Just kidding.
You're still
not.
playing Klansman? What?
I'm always playing plans, but I've always got it sleeved up, dog. You gotta get it ready.
They should have made FFG should have made a Jesse Carpenter starter deck, and it's just Klansman.
Now Bohan would get credits too. Bohan would get credits too.
And then every other deck has breaking ties in it.
Yes, this is true.
Who's Martell Master Race?
That's
That's
CT.
Oh, hi,
Of
CT.
course.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Hey, since you mentioned Seized by the Guard, let's talk about that next.
Steve, is that number
Alright.
9? Or in
Yeah,
the-
but
It is the
broad,
most-
we skipped number 10 for now. Fine, they're in order.
It is the most criminally underplayed card in the game.
Really? So you think Gen Con decks should run it?
I mean, I don't think they will. I think people have already decided. But like, locations are good in the game, so. And it's not like it's super expensive. Like people keep saying it's expensive, but like every time people play Stark, they want to play Frozen Solid. Like this can literally take down any location. There may or may not be, I don't know, a 6-drop location that is just like, in my opinion, wrecking fucking tier 1 decks right now. That you can just stop. That you can just stop by just putting a thing on it. So I think Cease is really good. Isn't that how Xavier won the dance? Like he played a Tyrell deck and put Seized in. Like wasn't that his big? Like wasn't that his spice?
That was his spice. He was running 3x seized.
I
So-
think that I usually fit it after the nightmares, though.
Okay.
If I don't
yeah.
run 2x nightmares,
Not-
I usually don't put seized in.
I think not in a world with another card that's on Aaron's list, which is the new wall, which is, I would say, if
Right,
the new
that's
wall
different.
was not in the card pool, seized goes down a lot. But now that we have this broken 6-card location that puts characters to play every phase, or can. Yeah.
Not phase.
So
But
I'm not sure if it's broken. Okay,
No,
like
it's
I
not.
played with it last
We
weekend.
will get there.
It was the only regional. It was the only regional that I've. It was literally the only regional I missed the cut in this year. But like, I just didn't see the wall in the 2 games I lost. I lost the mirror and then I didn't see the wall. It's super like it just fucking cheeses people. If you see the wall in Isle of Ravens, it is very fucking good. It is very good. Yeah.
Buzz, what do you think about the new wall?
I played it this weekend in Finland. I made top 4. Played
Go Buzz.
Played Nick's deck.
Oh,
It's kind of weak to rush unless you build
Yeah.
it for reasons. But yeah, rush and heavy duty towards.
Buzz, tell me how this would make you feel if you played Night's Watch Wolf against another wall deck, and then they stole your Ramsey 5 turns in a row, so you couldn't do anything. It was pretty good.
I
was
would not
enjoyable.
put Ramsey in my discard pile. Or
I had no choice.
I would ILO Ravens it fast.
He seized my Isle of Ravens.
Look, it's a combo
Hey,
of
Caesar,
cards.
here's a good card.
Yeah.
No, Martin played a good game, but he definitely stole my Ramsey like over and over and over.
I really don't think it's broken. I think it was a lot of work to make it go.
Yeah.
If you even a Frozen Solid on the Queen's Crown hurts the deck real bad. Especially
I think if Flea Bottom Veteran Builders stand wall, use it twice a turn didn't happen, it wouldn't be nearly as bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if we had a restricted list, Veteran Builder and the wall would be there.
I will tell you that the new wall is very good with breaking ties. Like very, very good.
Also,
because you can literally steal their loyal guy, like Starfall Cavalry, and draw 3 cards.
Guys. Oh, you mean steal the loyal? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're getting into this interaction.
Breaking ties them, and then steal Starfall Cavalry and draw 3 cards, and then breaking ties them. Good.
How many times did you do that against poor McKenna? Like
I played it at plot 6 and I played it plot 1, so I saw Starfall Cavalry 5 times.
All right.
Okay.
McKenna says it was 3.
So
Next.
What about the other part of Buzz's combo there, the Isle of Ravens?
Oh, sure, might as well go for it. Isle of Ravens should be in most decks right now. Like, assuming Targ still exists, it still completely wrecks their whole game plan. New wall is gonna be present, and having some control over that bullshit seems like a solid idea. Like, there should probably be 2 Isle of Ravens. Not 1, 2 Isle of Ravens in most decks.
Playing against Martel with the wall deck, I have decked them twice and lost once. The guy, the time I lost, he had Isle of Ravens.
Okay.
I think, no, it's just so good right now. It's so easy to fit 1x, and it protects against a certain card we're going to talk about soon.
Is that the plot?
Yeah.
Agenda, I mean?
No.
No?
It's very good with the agenda, though.
Yeah, it's amazing with the agenda.
It protects against nothing burns. It's a simple 1x, 1 gold stuff that protects your flea bottom or your wall or stuff.
Or shuffles in their stuff when they have flea bottom.
Yeah.
Great on setup. So why don't you talk about your nothing burns combo, because that's why it's here.
Oh, no. I like nothing burns, but I love Jade Sade Drummond, and then you play burns with it. Jade Sade Drummond, nothing burns is so good right now, especially against the new wall, Dorn, Set the Raw.
Yeah, so basically you Jade Seed at the cheap location, and then you nothing burns what they were trying to protect.
Right, of course.
It's super mean. I mean, in general, just don't set up big locations unprotected.
What card are we talking about?
Nothing burns like gold.
Oh no, the Jade Sea thing.
Jason
Jason
Drummond.
Drummond.
It's
The 2 cost, 1 gold, dominance phase action, discard a 3 or less location.
Mhm.
That's good. I've never even read that before.
Yeah, it's a 2 cost neutral limited. It's
Yeah.
pretty decent.
It's decent, but with burns, it's actually really good.
Yeah, I like that it's not unique too. You can
Yeah.
keep playing them if you have more than one in your deck.
From here, we might as well talk about the agenda. So, what are you guys seeing, and what are you guys doing with cohort? What are you
This
doing
should
with the
be a
dope?
whole episode. It's so big.
We were gonna wait until after Gen Con to do a
Yeah.
cohort episode because that's kind of its big moment in the sun will be Gen Con. But
Does that mean you're playing in a Gen Con, Rock?
yes, I'm playing Star Cohort at Gen Con. I am literally stealing DC's list that won the Philadelphia Regional, and I'm just playing that. So
There you go.
it's good. Recycling attachments, turning Brothers Robes in blanking limited locations with Brothers Robes and turning Brothers Robes into Frosos is really strong.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
It's super gross. And then you can run Isle of Ravens in that deck and shuffle in all your attachments so that,
No, you play rebuilding for the stones.
There you go. That's 5 gold. You can play anything in fucking Star that plot.
That's
So
right,
dude.
Star Cohort. That's right now I think the strongest Cohort deck that we've seen. But I know Nico won out in Italy with the combo Mega Danny deck that seems kind of fun. I don't know how consistent it is.
I thought Nico's was Lannister.
He
won-
that
has
was
made
2 weeks.
both of them.
That was
Twice.
Oh,
that was
one-
He
2
won
weeks
2
ago.
tournaments.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think it's cohort. I think it's Nico.
That's possible.
That's
Yes,
what
I
I
think
feel,
so.
but we'll definitely see. I mean, I know Nico talked a little bit about his Lannister deck. He didn't think it was that strong, but that Targ deck definitely looks like the real deal. Maybe not necessarily like at the point where I would feel comfortable like taking it to Gen Con, but in the months, I think it could definitely be a bit of a sleeper in the same way that Hyper Viper was. And in a few months, we'll see it come out as people have time to refine it and figure out the exact interactions that they want.
You know how depressed I was when I read Tokar and it said Targ character only? I was just trying to Viper up it, dog.
So what is that Thrones, or what is that Danny deck used to win the trading Danny deck?
Oh, it cycles Silver Steeds, which is the
That's
one
what I
that
figured.
you sacrifice.
Silver's because renown happens before it
Yep.
triggers.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a real piece of shit. It's great.
There's
Yeah.
If I didn't have better
at least
friends, I would
2
play
or
things
3
like
different cohort decks at the 30-person SoCal tournament a couple weeks ago. They were pretty cool. Different, both Alliance decks, the ones that I saw, but it's definitely out there. So bring your attachment hate.
Yeah, I think attachment hate is definitely very, very powerful right now with Seized and
Weapons
Cohort decks running around.
Could be weapons at the door could be really good.
Right at the door.
Yeah,
If,
turning off someone's entire agenda is really strong.
Greyjoy was a
Right.
real house. Hey, doesn't necessarily start the agenda. Some attachments ambush. Like you ambush in that attachment after it bounced back. What are they going to do? Be sad?
I mean, if you have
Right,
Salvador
there's
Song,
Aaron
you can ambush
Martell.
all
There's
weapons.
the Aaron Martell player right there.
Yeah. Bounce in that venomous, then pop it out to make it a.
Feel the hand.
No, the thing that bounces something else to hand.
Locked away.
Oh, the locked away.
Locked away. Yeah, that's where the
Just
money
imagine
is.
all the options if you have Raider from Pike and Saldor San both in play. You're fine.
There you go.
You can do
Ooh,
whatever you want.
there you go. Alliance,
This is-
man.
I mean, if we're
Classic
talking about
combo player here.
jumping things into play, we should probably talk about Aegon.
Sure.
Very strong.
Did you say Aegon or Rick?
Aegon.
Oh,
I don't know who Rickon is. Never heard of it.
I hear-
direct
I hear-
counter.
One of
Rick
the-
in.
The Sam Brass special, man. Like playing Rickon to stop people from having fun, right, Jesse?
yes. Set him up against me. I had to Valor that motherfucker. Then he played
Yeah.
Summer. He got him right back.
Oh,
No wheels for Jesse. I gotta play Viper the hard way. Just
Hang on,
cock it up.
This is for Jesse, Chris, and Roy. Johnny Wright just kicked Lobster out of the Facebook chat. My whole night is made.
All right.
amazing.
Moving on from the in joke here to
Aegon.
Aegon. So Aegon is really strong. Like probably the strongest Shadows card in print right now, right?
I gotta tell you something. It'll tickle your cheap Tyrell heartstrings. When I read Aegon Targaryen, the first thing I thought of was like, what Tyrell army can I get and then blink with Mace and keep them? That was like the first thing I thought of. I'm like, I need to blink what I'm getting so it stays in play.
It's the 8 cost army, right? Or is that
They're all terrible. The one is like it only works during non-winter turns or whatever. It's so bad. Yeah, I was hoping there was like a King Rob's Host equivalent that I could just grab and then blink with Mace and then just.
There is no equivalent to King Rob's Host ever.
Terrell does not need more armies. Crazy thing. Terrell has enough. Let's not give him armies.
King Rob's Host.
But do they have any mercenaries?
No, I don't think they have a single one. I literally looked it up, and I was so sad when I realized all of their armies were terrible. I was like,
is the 5-drop the
High Guard and Honor Guard?
High Guard and Honor Guard? Is that an army or is that guard?
It might be an army, but it's not
I think
good.
it's an army.
That might be the
good
only
cards.
one that's. Yeah, King's Rob Host is the army of Gotham. I mean, it turned a deck that was kind of always kind of crappy, Stark Dragon, into a real, very solid, very fun deck.
Aegon
Dragon. Have a whole-
Gabriel too.
Martell
We have
Dragon.
whole episodes of just decks I lost to at final tables this season. Could just do that.
Martell Dragon, the deck that has 100% win rate in untimed games. But if you time a game, it can't win.
If the game is 2 hours, it cannot be beaten.
But in 55 minutes, you're fucked. You're at
Speaking
2
of
power,
armies,
your opponent's at 4.
Speaking of Martell Dragon and armies, there's a Martell army on this list that probably wouldn't mind getting pulled by Aegon.
Is it the one that draws you cards?
No, it's the Host of the Boneway. Aaron, why do you think it's going to be all over Gen?
Yeah.
I hear that's really good when it comes out for free in Shadows, and you run this event that gains you power.
I hear it's really good no matter what. That card just owns boards.
Yeah.
Like Host of the Bone Ray.
Let's give a house 3 non-unique intimidate armies. Good, where they can just choose initiative. Let's give them at the same like a 3-drop that doesn't matter thematically at all. But let's just have him control.
Look, he carries the
most
Mountain
important
Skull.
aspect of the fucking game. Hey, you can win initiative whenever you want to now, Martell. It's not a big deal. And for some reason, he's no attachments. I can't even ward him. What kind of shit is that?
Hey, you know what's great though? Like that deck stopped mattering almost immediately because of Mr. Wyman Manderley.
There we go.
Well, I think mainly it stopped mattering because people just started playing Ham's Judgments.
No, I don't think so. Because they have the worst event in the game. Plot cancel.
Yeah,
Your Ham's Judgment doesn't matter against them. It's that Stark came up big in the meta so much, and Stark has 3 or 4 different cards, and Stark came up because of Wyman. But Stark has 3 or 4 different cards that fuck over.
I think Northern Armory is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also hear if a really good card that draws you a card and stands itself, but can also trigger your second best card that stands all of your characters. I hear that's really good against.
Seems like a reasonable combo.
I've never won anything major in my life, but I'm pretty sure that level of synergy is very strong.
I have a weird question about Wayman Manderley, and I don't know the answer, obviously. Is there any star card that didn't get used before that would be good with Flea Bottom, but it couldn't sack itself, so it wasn't good? That would be good now. You know what I mean?
No.
So So like veteran
No.
builder can sack himself.
Oh,
that's
if
why it was good.
anything has like an interplay effect.
Yeah, that
I mean,
would
it's like
be.
summer.
just gets better.
Yeah,
summer
obviously.
Use summer.
Summer and Brand get better.
But is there
Yeah.
anything that you would want to get like turn after turn after turn that would have been
Yeah,
more
no.
insane?
You can keep Brand out every turn with
Yeah.
Flea Bottom, which is
Yeah.
really nice at controlling that Martell matchup. Like
Yeah.
Brand just sitting there in challenge phase after Flea Bottom every round is real sad for them.
This is
Um,
already covered by the North Remembers decks. They have been playing Man early for a while, and that's why it's
True.
already explored.
Yeah. No, that's true.
All right, we have
All right, let's get some draw in our lives. Exchange of
one
information.
card left. Hey, Wyman was draw too. Oh, we
I
have
mean,
two
I
cards
think-
left.
Brad,
actually, back to that point, really quick. Like Bolton Flare gets insane because then if you don't want him to trigger, you just sack him. You can just bring
Yeah.
him back when you need him. Like Bolton Flare does get very, very
Sure.
good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, yes. It is.
so I have a question for Brad. Brad, do you know what exchange of information does?
No. Oh, the plot, right?
The plot
With
that
the
lets you
birds on
search
it?
the top 10. Yeah. And lets your opponent choose for each card type. What do you
Yeah.
think of that plot?
I hate this plot as well. Me and Chase had like a spiritual debate for 30 minutes about this in Builders versus counting coppers. Oh, I was just so upset about it. And like
One.
about exchange of information. So like this is yet again your opponent gets to choose, which means that you're getting the bad thing that you show them out of all of those things. So if you do give them, like obviously it's just like such a spin the wheel card because it's like, oh, I only revealed one location this time and it was the one I needed, so this card's great.
Crown of
But like
Gold.
for every, yeah, but like
Is that
for
what your
every,
opponents sound like? No wonder you don't own any
Has
cards.
anyone
I
else?
Have
just
you met
told
people
you,
from last summer?
I just told you I was talking to Chase. Of course, that's what he sounds.
Has anyone here else had this discussion for 30 minutes over and over and over about why I think exchange of information is bad, and then you guys are just like, oh well, you got this one card, it's great. I agree with you, Brad Eamon. I agree with you. I think it's shit.
Anything that lets your opponent choose just feels so damn bad. And like, especially with this, because this is not two cards. Where like the odds of two cards that you show them both being good is very high. But it's like every character that you show them, every location that you show them, every event and every attachment. And if you miss with any of those four things, it feels bad.
Why do you run bad cards? Like I just don't
No.
put bad cards in my deck.
There's
and I don't
just
have this
cards.
problem.
Have you never had a character in the dead pile ever? That just
I do.
happened?
We try and
It's
eliminate
like
that from our game.
So-
Sounds like a
Alright.
leak that you might have if you have characters in your dead pile.
So
Might work
the
on that.
difference here is like you can say a card's bad and then like you can play the game and then you can win. The issue with me is like I can say a card's bad and then they just beat me with the bad card, so then I don't have an argument anymore. I'm not good. It's a problem.
But like this card isn't the reason why you lost the game. Let's be real.
There are several reasons why. I lose.
So I
Everything
just want to say one
contributes
quick
a
thing
little
before
bit.
we move on from exchange of information. Like, but what happens if you're running a deck that's like 90% non-unique characters, all of which have tight internal synergies? Most of your locations are good you
It
want
is
to
good
see them
to build.
consistently. You have an event or a couple events that you're always happy to see, and then you have busted attachments that literally there is no your opponent could shuffle them up and randomly give them to you, and it would be just as good. Like, what if there was a deck that did that? Like, would exchange of information be good in that deck?
Are we talking about builders? Can we just say builders? Like, what was with the whole mystery? Like, there's a big twist at the end. M. Night Shyamalan, he was a ghost the whole time. Like,
It was Clansman.
we were talking about builders the whole time. Yeah.
Clansman has no good attachments. That's what's missing from Clansman and Fancy. Attachments.
So
No,
the
dude.
problem with that is that you can still whiff on some of those things. While you have like
Point.
great things, there's still a high capability of whiffing, and you do play unique characters still. So if you don't get a character and say you whiff on something else, does it feel bad? Like,
Not that bad.
you're also
I mean,
you're
like,
also saying
I've never
here, look
got
at
less
these cards you're putting in my hand. We're counting
I
coppers.
don't
as
think
You
it
have no clue what the fuck I drew.
I don't think with builders it matters as much. Like everyone knows what's in builders, right?
That deck is just degenerate though. That's
And
why.
Martell Wars too. Like, what are you giving Martell Wars that they're sad to see?
But do you believe that? So the trade off is you might get one more card. Sometimes you do, but you might get the same amount of cards if you have stuff in dead pile. One of which is guaranteed useless, unless you discard it to something, obviously. Compared to
if we're still talking about builders, good luck getting a unique.
No. I'm just talking about.
Let's say Martell Wars. Like,
Martell
what
Wars.
unique character are you getting in my dead pile that I give any kind of shit about? Like,
I'm not calling the plot bad, but it is.
I don't think I run. Yeah.
Like the examples that you're giving me is like, I understand that, but counting coppers is still a better plot, right? Would you say that counting coppers is a worse plot?
Gold.
It is
possibly two more gold if it's the summer.
And more initiative. Would you say that counting coppers is a better plot, or this is a better plot?
It depends on the deck. I think there's decks that
I don't
want
think it's an obvious answer to that.
Sure.
Like, I think that if you're running a low total of uniques and you're running at least 5 attachments and at least 5 events, then I think that exchange is better.
Buzz, do you like exchange?
I love it. Almost.
Yes.
I like the design.
I love it almost.
But so I think Chris, Roy, and Aaron both all like it. They also have a tendency to run mid-range decks that just I get a big guy, I play the big guy, I'm happy.
I don't run mid-range decks.
I play attrition. I would rarely play change of information. Especially when all I do in my games is try and trick my opponent. I know that I'm not better than many people, so I try to trick them, have them, and then exchange of information
that's how you get
will be better for me.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, to go back to Martell Wars' argument, it is actually a big difference for me if I know my opponent has a secret schemes versus a Doran's game. Like, to know they have the Doran's game is like a huge thing to know. Like, even if Doran's game's the only event that I give them, like I have to give it to them. Like, knowing that they have that now is a huge thing. Instead of like, they have it? Do they not have it? Like, where's the risk here? It's like I know that they have that in their hand. Is a huge.
If they threaten it, no, it's not. Because if they fucking threaten it, defend. like if they threaten it, they're still drawing 2 cards. If they threaten it, defend. It's not the kind of event that you're just like, well, it'll hurt me. No, it's the kind of event that's like, oh shit, they got 9 power, the game's over. Like, no, it doesn't. Knowing they have it doesn't defend the heavy injury from Martell when they have like 6 or 7 plots, or you're.
And if you're playing cool cards like Nighttime Marauders, it matters.
I mean, I guess, but
how much? It doesn't seem like you value like the information that you're giving away on that plot very highly.
No,
like
I'm usually not. Yeah.
That's my point.
Because
I value the information that I give away on that very, very highly. Like I hate when people.
I think even that's a deck by deck decision. Like I think exchange of information is probably pretty bad in Targ because I don't want to know what cards I have in Targ. But I think in builders I don't give a shit.
Not in Skazahadron, where it's a 6/4/1.
That's why I love counting.
Are good.
That's why, like, me personally, I don't enjoy it because I really hate giving my opponent information like that. Like the worst part for Scene in Flames for me usually feels my opponent seeing my whole hand feels worse than me losing a card. Like they can literally throw everything out after that point.
I think that's just play style. I'm not sure who's right. Like I'm the same way with that stuff. Like I roll for first player like a freak. So like I don't like to give away any information.
So, we've got one more card, Glazer.
The last card is the Terrell card. Scheme accepted. I fucking hate this card. It's like they were like, hey, what chud would you like? What chud would you least like to give Terrell? That one. Okay, let's print it. Like,
no, it's really healthy for card games when when value doesn't matter anymore and cards can just break even. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even talking like even in a world where Old Town doesn't exist, this card just fucking breaks even. Like, you cannot print cards like that. Like, you put it in, you can do a challenge, then you somehow get the 2 cold back that you spent on it, you draw a card, and then you just set it up for next turn. Like, it just, oh my god, this card sickens me. And then you play it and you feel dirty. Like, you feel like you need to take a shower after doing that to people.
Yeah.
That's the scheming part of the Septon.
You're not outplaying me by doing this. You're just
No,
paying
it's-
2 gold.
Yeah.
Do you think that
extra.
he should? Do you think that he should not be able to just be like regularly played? Like he should only be able to come into play out of shadows?
No,
Correct.
he shouldn't have been printed. No, that's not enough.
I mean, that's also
Really?
true.
If you make him
Definitely
cost
should
$4, he's not
I don't-
balanced.
No, I
4
don't
for
think
2
so
is
at all.
fine. 4 for
Like,
2 is fine. Like, I
Just
hate
the
that they
sheer
give us
amount
a
of
Shadows
shit
card.
you can do with it.
I don't like they're giving us Shadows cards that the Shadows keyword doesn't matter.
I
That-
strongly
yeah,
agree with that, and
yeah,
that's something
That's my
that I've been bothered by that since I started
Like,
seeing.
especially
Shadow
all
cards.
these all these old 1.0 guys. You guys should really care about this because, like, you guys
I
scream
do.
so long
We
for Shadows to
do.
come back, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
and like,
Yes.
so
I
we're only
absolutely
going to
do.
get a finite number of Shadows cards, and this is one of them. So it's not a Shadows card.
Yeah.
Like, we get
Sucks.
blasted by that. Like, that, I think that's
It's a Shadows card when Mace needs an extra trigger.
oh. I mean,
So it I think Scheming Septon, how am I put this? Danny's been really cautious with the shadow designs here. And the only reason, like, Scheming Septon is just busted. Like, the shadows could just be deleted from the card and it would not matter at all, right? For the level of play it sees right now and its power level, right? So, and then all the other shadows cards, some of which are good, like Aegon is really good, and
Nighttime Marauders is busted.
Nighttime
So
Marauders is
good.
really strong.
Very, very good.
But they're all
Very-
relatively cautiously designed the way in which they interact with the shadows mechanic. You know, you
Yeah.
save
Shadow-
that 1 gold in value if you marshal them, and just I think Danny like tuned it like undertuned shadows so far. Now who knows? Second half of the cycle could have some really busted cards that interact with
We
shadows. as
already-
the keyword
We
itself,
already
but-
have like really strong Shadows cards. We just got them at the wrong time. Like Bowls at Castle Rock and Shadow City, we should have gotten in pack 5 or 6. Now we just have to stare at these really cool cards for 5 months and not play them. Like, these cards are super strong, and I love the design space of both of them. We just can't play them right now.
Do you
I
think that
agree.
Throne should move to a release cycle similar to L5R?
No,
You wouldn't want, because like you could do the whole Shadow cycle then 6 weeks.
No, what we need is a restricted list.
I don't.
Like, we don't get
used to
rid of the
think that-
fucking broken combos that way.
I think the problem with Danny, by the way, with the Shadows thing, is that Shadows just work differently in 2.0 than they did in 1.0 because it's just action speed now. So he had to be like really careful because he has no testing with Shadows at action speed going in.
Right.
Like you have testing from 1.0 with Shadows at the beginning of the phase, but you don't have Shadows at action speed, which can be really, really insane at times.
The
So
problem is that they gave everyone ambush in second edition. It was only one house in first.
Yep.
So everyone having ambush meant they had to do something, and what they came up with wasn't perfect. I'm still happy to have shadows. Like, I'm not complaining about shadows. I just think this. Like,
It's
I don't
imperfect.
even think.
I agree.
I don't even think I dislike any other shadows card. There's some that are kind of useless, but like, this is the only one that I think is busted and bad for the game.
I think that Aegon's bad moving forward. You have to be really careful, like printing armies and mercenaries after he is out,
Sure.
I mean,
especially in Tyrell.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, I don't think Tyrell was ever really going to get armies anyway. But and they don't have any mercenaries. But I think the real problem, like, I don't think you're getting anything more busted than Starfall Capper. Like, you'd have to work to get something more busted than pops into play to draw 3 cards.
Let's hope we don't get that.
So it's
What if
not
you drew
really
3
so
cards when
much
they left
bad,
play?
but
First of all, most busted combo is getting DDoSed by Dario.
Oh yes. That feels real bad when you get DDoS by Dario.
All right.
It is.
So we're gonna jump into our final segment this evening then, since we went through all of Aaron's cards, which is for those of you who watched the show in our run up to Worlds. Last 2 years we have done over unders on the important things that could happen both inside and outside the game for Game of Thrones, the card game community, the Game of Thrones, the card game community for Worlds. This year we're doing it for Gen Con. So Glazer has prepared some over-unders for us that we're going to each do, and then the winner gets to take a walk of victory, and the loser gets to take the Roy Rogers walk of shame for doing terribly in these pickups.
Is that where you walk around naked and wait for a poop at you?
Ooh.
Something like that. It's definitely me walking around naked. All right, so
What are you, Jesse? All right.
I wish.
Over under 40 players for Melee.
Well, 40's the cap, so under.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wait, is it really? All right. Over under 30 players for Melee.
Over.
I'll take the over. I'll take over on 30.
Are we saying sign up or show up?
Show up.
It'll
play.
hit.
Go on.
Show up,
Player.
it'll hit cap.
I'm gonna take the over on that too.
Okay, over then. I don't think people play Melee in the US, so. But I'll
Yeah.
trust
Some of
you
us
guys.
do, Buzz.
30's just it's such a small amount of people that like
Yeah.
if there's nothing going on at Gen Con, it's like fuck it.
Roy, are you
I'm-
over?
I'm over.
I'm
I
staying
am
under.
personally bringing 6 built Melee decks just to hand to people to try to play.
Like,
you should bring,
ours
you
are
should bring 29.
Text me at text me if you get to 29 players. I'll jump in.
How many
Ooh.
Salt Cliff Sailors decks
There's
are
no
there in
chance.
those?
There's just
There are 6,
guys.
Buzz. There are
So
6.
I'm gonna spoil this for you guys.
We can drag
Jesse
up
has
some
a
of my-
degenerate Melee deck. He's just gonna win. Just move on.
So we can always drag up some of my friends who are
Oh,
casual
yeah, the
gamers.
bachelor party friends.
Yeah. So to play to rum it up to humiliate Glazer.
Over under 160 players for Joust.
Under.
Under.
That seems too easy. Looks like we're moving it to 140.
Let's do 120. I let you do
Yeah.
120.
Nah, I'm going.
I'm gonna say
140.
over. I'm just gonna go over.
140.
Over 140.
I'm gonna say it. Do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna live
Under.
dangerously.
Under.
I'll take the over with you, Roy.
How many
One.
players were at Worlds last year? 117?
Yeah, I think we beat
Uh,
Worlds again.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
always
we
do.
lose. I do not think so.
Fantasy flight card games don't grow; they shrink.
Taking
Yeah.
away card
what
designs
my
does
wife
not
keeps
make
telling me. I
people
don't know.
show up.
Yeah, I can't believe they're so fucking dumb. It's like, hey, people travel for one thing for this. Let's just get rid of it.
All right, so the only overs on that one are Roy and I.
Also, I
Uh,
think
yep.
isn't there what else is that same day?
The Friday,
That's
not much.
No,
Star Wars, and then is day
Oh.
2 of L5R that day?
Yeah.
Day three of my alcoholism.
Doomtown is Friday.
I think L5R taking like people off that day is a big deal too.
But it's only day 2 though, right?
No. It's the second day of Swiss.
Oh,
The
it's
second
day
day one.
Swiss.
So
Oh,
they're doing 2 flights. So day 1A and that's day 2B.
Yeah. Although we had that last year, didn't we? And we still did pretty well. We smashed Worlds attendance, right?
No.
No,
So
last
the
year
first
was,
L5R event was 700 people, and then the
I was
second
in
one
that
they capped. Then the second one they capped at 256, which was the same day as Thrones.
Oh, okay.
And you had to like get a ticket. Like that was actually really hard.
It
to
was
get
the
a
same
ticket
day as-
for.
It was the same day as Melee. It was the same day as Melee.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, because I sold my ticket to play Melee.
All right.
All right.
Next
That's
up,
my boy.
most likely to blow chunks at Casablanca during Roy's bachelor party.
Gotta go with the reigning champion of this category, Jesse Carpenter.
I'll second that.
I'll
Wait,
I'll take Sandy since I'm next.
I've never seen Sandy throw up. That's
I
the
have.
problem.
I have.
I put him.
I fucking carried him home before. Ugh.
Oh wait,
He's
hang on.
a much happier man these days, so he vomits less. But
Friday night, Nick Hansen is taking the new wall. I'm going Nick Hansen here. If Nick misses the cut, I'm going to ruin his life.
All right, Glazer, who do you say?
I'm out of practice. I'm throwing up.
Oh wow, Brad.
I think I gotta take. And I don't know. I'm gonna take Sandy. I think he's gonna do a lot of day drinking.
There's no repeats, right?
Right,
Oh,
you
we
can-
can't. Yeah, there was 2 Jesse picks, right?
No, Jesse-
just-
No.
Oh.
I picked Nick Hansen because I love him. I want to make
What
him
are my
go
other
up.
What are my other options?
It could be
Sandy,
anyone. It could
Jesse,
be Platt.
Nick,
It
and
could be
Glazer are off the
Schutzberg
board.
drinking illegally.
So anyone
Roy
to throw up.
himself. Roy
Me.
himself is on the list.
It is
This-
Roy's
this-
bachelor
this-
party. Roy may die.
This one's hard to verify, so but I'm gonna go with Platt. I'm gonna say somebody's gonna find him throwing up, otherwise he would have lied about it.
Yeah, he don't lie about it for sure.
So he'd
He'll
lie about
definitely
it,
lie.
but I think somebody's gonna catch Platt throwing up.
I like it.
Are there any more going to Gen Con?
Yeah.
Oh man, I have a sneaky pick. Should have gone with that one. I like Sandy though.
Alejandro.
No,
Buzz.
I was gonna say Ryan Jones.
Ooh.
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 Is he
Buzz,
going?
Buzz.
Ryan
Yeah.
Jones will not be playing Thrones at Gen Con. He's working, but he is going to Casablanca.
Okay. Ryan Jones, of course. Thank you.
All right.
Focus there.
So, what will be the first plots played in the final match?
Let's do reverse order, Buzz. You get first pick this time.
First plot in the final
Americans
match.
Boring. Remember this.
Americans are boring.
Yeah, this feels like.
This is the final joust match. Let's
I'm
clarify.
not gonna say
Literally my
time of
least-
plenty. They will not make the final. I
We can only hope.
only hope. At Prince Doran's
Are we
best.
picking 2 plots each?
Prince
Behest.
Doran's
No,
Behest.
just one each.
Just one.
Each. This way we can have
Be in
multiple
either
ways.
deck. So. Brad?
The bad summer draw plot that we all hate.
Exchange of information.
Oh, no.
No,
Oh. Wait, time of plenty or exchange of information? Which bad
Time
summer
of
draw-
plenty.
Time of plenty. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like plot sickens me.
Glazer?
Mine is late summer. Mine's late summer feast.
Wow, just skipping me,
Glazer's
Jesse. Thanks,
turn.
buddy.
Glazer's
Oh, I'm
second
sorry.
before you, Jesse. Glazer, what do
Um,
you say? Late summer feast just to screw Jesse.
now I'm gonna go exchange of information.
All right.
Yeah.
Jesse, late summer feast?
Beast is so
Showing?
likely.
Yeah,
Show and thaw.
late summer.
I'm gonna go. All the super obvious ones are taken. I'm gonna say building orders.
Hmm.
What did
Is
he
the,
Chase's
is, the
opener?
is the chat helping?
Let's see what chat suggests.
I have an idea
Oh.
for you. Be a man and take March to the wall and say somebody mulligans into a bad hand and only sets up
No,
one
no,
guy.
no.
You
Take
got me,
take-
Brad. March to the wall. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's some degenerate new wall deck.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
March
the
to the
standard opener for for New Wall.
No. I'm saying if somebody gets like a bad draw and mulligans,
Yeah,
they can
sure.
only set up one guy and somebody just smashes them with March to the wall and like Wars to Come or something.
Oh, good. This
Alright.
question got fixed because I was wondering what 4 bears in the cut meant.
Yep, I don't know how to say. Over under, this is from our listeners. I think this is an Andrew question. Over under 4 beards in the cut.
How big is the cut usually?
Well,
We're
yeah,
that's
talking
top
about. Wait, we're doing
16,
top
right?
16 here, right?
We do top 8 always when we talk about
Top 8.
Top
Yeah,
8. We did
eight.
top 16 at Worlds.
Did we? No, we didn't.
Yes.
It's all the shit
I
below
thought we
says
did.
top 8. Okay. The thing you sent me had all top 8s, right?
All right. Well,
All right,
top
we'll do
8.
top 8.
Well, I think these numbers were justified in thinking there was a top 16 cut, though, right?
Oh, 8.
Yeah.
Because, like, look, all the shit below, top 8. Cut top 8, there's a whole section. Like, it's what the world's want to use as a model set. It's what Roy sent me.
What are we
Undo?
considering a beard? Like, does Roy and Glazer have a beard right now?
I have a
Uh,
beard.
Is that a
Glazer doesn't. Glazer is lazy. Roy has a beard.
just got a haircut yesterday, dude. It'll grow
I'm
in.
going under.
Under.
Now, how
going-
many people in Wausau wear beards, unfortunately?
Does Sam have his beard or not have his beard right now?
Sam shaved, I believe, last time I saw him.
And Ryan.
But
isn't
who knows?
playing.
Who knows by now? Who knows by now?
Ryan isn't playing.
Ryan's not
Ryan's
playing.
not
He's working.
playing. Correct.
Ch-
So
Chase doesn't have a beard, and I can't grow one either.
I'll drop for Melee.
Oh.
love
I will go. I gotta go over here. Let's do it. Let's go over. But it's gonna be the year of the beards. Clean Shaven Man is one.
I'm going over to
Last
West
year,
Oak.
we're gonna go back to the show and thaw repeat.
Wait, who is
Going
that
over.
just chimed in with over?
Blazer.
Names.
Blazer.
All right. Buzz is going under. Brad under.
Here.
Under. Get
I'm
everybody
going under
washing
as
a
well.
shave,
I will be.
bringing this shit.
I'll be one of two beards. We'll say in the cut.
Okay. Over
All right.
under 2 cheating or collusion controversies.
1.5.
1.5, yes.
1.5, excuse me.
Gen Con
So if we
tends
have
to be.
2 cheating or collusion controversies. You'll get the over.
I'm taking under.
Really?
Gen Con tends to not have these issues. That tends to be a world's problem, particularly with the card design gone. I don't
Yep.
think.
I agree with Roy.
Yeah, under.
What do we consider a controversy?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Have you
So-
met the Facebook group?
Have you met the Facebook group?
So if there's a Facebook post that gets over X amount
Freaking
of
out
comments,
about
basically,
someone cheated or
Or colluded?
colluded or
Wait,
oh
is scouting considering collusion?
sure.
Because I'm going to be
So-
over 1.5 by
But
myself.
only if it's a
If someone
controversy.
freaks
Well,
out
it
about
has to be a controversy, Jesse. It doesn't have to be it happens. It has to be like a
Nah,
public.
everyone likes me. It's fine.
yeah,
Uh,
Jesse,
public
when you
thing.
scout,
It has to be-
nobody
it has
cares.
to
They'll just give
be-
you the list.
Someone, being like, I saw Jesse in the play area when he wasn't supposed to be looking at Brad's deck. Bob,
Actually,
It's-
here's the thing.
What?
Here's the actual question to know this. Is Platt playing Versus or Thrones?
Ah,
he is playing versus.
I'm keeping that information secret.
I also need an answer for something. Is Booker coming?
no, he's
No.
not.
Oh,
Okay, so
No, he's
under.
missing.
does Booker starting a controversy not at Gen Con but about Gen Con count?
Yes.
Uh,
So
I
if
mean-
Brad complains about something to Booker, and Booker goes on the Facebook group and causes a stir, yes, that counts.
Brad claims he might not play Thrones, which would really just be
No,
great.
Brad's playing
Oh.
for sure.
Oh, that's a shame.
No.
Brad's playing
Alright.
for sure.
All right, so I have answers from me, Roy, and Buzz. Everybody else.
Yeah, I'm going
I
over.
have, I have faith. I love
You're
the
going
game.
under, Jesse.
No faith in this video.
I'm gonna
The
say
year has
I'm
been too
gonna say under.
good. Good for you, Mr. Eamon.
All right,
I
here's
mean,
mine.
there's just
and-
flat. I mean,
I'm
Nobody's
Flat
gonna
Butcher-
care. There's no card design. No one cares.
I agree.
Glazer,
There's no
Glazer
fan
knows
of
I'm
the
snap
sports.
picking this next one. Over under 2.5 organized play snafus. Over in a second.
Yeah,
Over
definitely.
in a second. So, because they
What do
did
we
it
call
last.
That's-
snafus?
Don't worry
So
about
that
the
could
lines.
be mispairings, repairings, rounds not starting.
Yeah, hold on. See, this is what sucks though, and I gotta. This is from my store standpoint. Is repairing because someone didn't fucking report to you or reported
No,
wrong
no.
is not an OP snap.
No, that's not what. That does not count. We're talking about repairing because they just managed to fucking score wrong, which they do sometimes.
Like
Yeah,
bad
but
gaming, not
if you fill out the slip wrong and you bring it to them, and then they go, okay, here's standings. If your stuff is wrong, come tell
No,
us.
they've gotten right slips wrong before. Don't
Oh,
you
sure.
fucking don't
Sure,
you
but like,
fucking
how are we
underrate
gonna? How are we
the-
gonna?
All right,
How are
Brad.
we
I'll
gonna
give you a
know
very specific example of what we're talking about as well. So bad judge calls count in this.
Oh, yeah,
So for
that's-
example,
Oh,
in
we're
second
counting bad
edition,
judge calls. I'm taking over. I'm going over. If we're
All
taking
right.
bad judge
because in
calls,
second edition, character abilities, keywords are character abilities, and that's a very important thing to remember.
oh, I'm going
uh,
over that.
Is Pablo judging at Thrones?
He is
I
right.
believe.
I'm going under.
Ooh,
I
Yeah,
like
I
him.
As long as,
Every-
as long as people know to call Pablo for all your judge calls, you shouldn't get any wrong.
Yeah, just guys, like pledging from like preach it, like have Roy preach it to you. If you are sure about something, you call a judge. It is not bad form to just be like, can we check in on another judge? Like it
Absolutely
is
not.
Gen Con. Even though there's not a card design, it's still important. If you
And I
think you're
also-
right, just call another judge. It's not
And I
that big
also
deal.
know- Did we forget rings last year? Did that not happen? Like they're just gonna mess up too much.
I think it's fine.
All right, Buzz,
Under.
you're the last one to weigh in.
Under.
You're taking the
I
under.
said under.
let's
Oh,
not
I
remember
think
that
this is
Sandy
Homer.
and I counted at Worlds this past year that they broke the over under we gave them in the first hour of running the Swiss. at Worlds, okay? And that was not as distressful an experience as running events at Gen Con is. So,
All right, next question. Over under 50%, that's half the field on the Wars to Come agenda. I assume that doesn't mean 50% of the field will be joining the Wars to Come cast.
I mean,
It's fine.
it might.
Either one.
I'll take under.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going over. I think
I'm
if you're
going under.
I think if you're coming to win, like I don't know why you bring something else.
Because you're bringing
cohort's a thing.
cohort.
Yeah,
that's the
I
other
don't think-
50%.
Roll your last.
I will go. What is most people said here?
Under.
Under. I'll
Most
go
of
over.
them.
I'll go over. Why not?
All right, over
I mean-
under 15% on Quohor.
As their only
Other
agenda,
champ agenda.
or as a part of Alliance.
Included in Alliance, I think would count, in my opinion.
Yep.
Under.
Over.
Let me do some quick math here. With that, what would 15% look like?
Let's say 100 people show up, then it would be 15 people. Yeah.
I'm not doing the math on 100 people though.
Oh, okay.
I'll take the over.
Yeah, me too.
I'll take over as well here.
I'm going under.
Going under.
I will take the over.
Yeah, me and Jesse have consistently been like, I don't think anyone's taking over.
Buzz?
Over.
Buzz is way over. Buzz is in love with cohort.
Americans are
Not-
boring, Buzz. Remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
But they love European decks, and they've been published, so
Yeah, but I don't think those that have been published are the good ones.
sure.
I mean,
This question,
Wama's
this
is
question
good.
feels a
They're
bit
good,
dated. Can we get another one from chat to replace this one?
I like it.
It's so dated. Wait, you were a player more than 3 years ago? Who cares?
Somebody who
Fine.
didn't play 1.0 in top 8.
Yep. How many
5
people?
or 6.
I think 6. I'd go 4.
All right.
How many people didn't play 1-0 in the cut?
In top 8. Top 8.
Did you say
Top eight,
6,
sorry.
Jesse? Jesse, was your answer 6?
I'm going 5. I'm going 5. I'm going 5.
I'm going to say 6 people didn't play 1-0.
Buzz?
I think I'm right around
What-
Glazer's number. I think 4 is fair.
Do we mean
Yeah,
like
5.
actually played 1-0 or knows how to
Actually
play?
played in a competitive.
Actually played
Okay.
1.0.
Because I know how to play 1-0, but I never played an event.
Yeah, he wouldn't
You
count
would not
that.
count as somebody
Rats would.
Roy,
who
Your
won a
number.
card design in 1.0 would count. I will go at 5.
all right. Over under 2 podcast hosts at the Melee final table.
Whoa,
Over.
pick 4. Over. It's gonna be 4, motherfuckers. It's gonna be 4. All right. It's gonna be 4.
I
Isn't
didn't
this
win
the
Rando.
easiest over
Wait,
ever?
Does Dark Knight
Yes.
count as a podcast?
No.
Yes.
No,
Obviously,
No.
yes.
No.
he doesn't host a podcast.
Dark Knight will make the cut.
It's
That's
on-
like that's the problem.
It's put on
If he
ice.
plays. If he
Dark Knight
plays.
will play
No,
Melee
I'm
if
saying
he
like Melee's
Oh.
fucked up this year because like people who make the cut can't play Melee. Like Dark Knights will make the cut and joust.
I'm going under. That's it. Going
All
under.
all the podcast hosts who don't make the cut who will be there, like I will just make them play Melee. And I'll give them my decks.
Under.
For sure.
All right, we need Buzz and Brad.
Over,
I'll
over,
take
over.
under.
All right. All right, now we're getting to our. Do we have any more fun ones we want to do before we get to the cut? Any from chat that we'll
They're all over the place at this point. I didn't really organize when I started getting extra ones.
These are so many. Oh my god.
Yeah, I feel like there's a million here.
Let's just like run through them.
I feel like there's-
We won't discuss anymore. We'll just say over under.
All right.
All right. How many copies of the most represented deck art will be in the cut? So basically, if say
Cut being top 8,
Hard
right?
Summer, Hard
Yes.
Kings of Summer is the most represented deck by number of the top 8. How many copies of that deck will there be? I'm gonna say 3.
We can't repeat. I think we have to be able to repeat with this one, right?
Yeah. Numbers
Yeah.
you can.
1. I don't think there'll be any.
One copy of.
copies.
Oh wow! So you think everybody's going to be equal?
8 different decks. 8 different decks.
I will agree with Chris. He stole my 3. It's gonna be 3.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
So we're saying how many would match the person that wins?
No. Just like the number
If there's
that
8
has the
so
most,
cut,
highest percentage in the cut.
Yeah.
So
If
if
there
there's
are-
like
Yeah,
three
the field
targets,
is 60%
and only 2
Tyrell. How many Tyrell?
Oh,
No, not Tyrell.
no,
Tyrell with
specific
the same
decks.
agenda.
Tyrell
wins.
Wars.
Wars, right. So I mean Tyrell.
I'm gonna go with 2.
1.
thanks,
Alright,
Buzz.
so Buzz and Jesse are interested in a all H diverse deck. Over under 2.5 confiscations in the plot deck of top 8.
Whirlwind pick over.
Yep, same for me.
I'm going under.
2
One
and a
wall
half.
OP.
2.5 total confiscations in potentially 80 plots.
I'm gonna go over.
This doesn't matter for confiscation, but it does matter for marched. If someone's running 2 of it, it only counts as 1. Like
No, that
in
counts as
each plot deck. No, it counts as 1.
no.
That
That's
counts
not
as
how
2.
this works.
No,
No,
it counts
Then
as
we
1.
gotta. Then Glazer
counts
just
as 2.
double it. Go to 8. Go to 5. March in the top 8. Then. Yeah. Or 4.5. Yeah.
All right.
Americans are so
so
boring. So it's
confiscation-
We
probably
didn't finish
Yeah, they are.
confiscation. We didn't finish confiscation, did we?
No, it didn't. Buzz?
We got one more.
I want to say under, but it's
a
probably
Buzz and
over.
Buzz and Jesse.
Wait, you say
It's
it's going to be over, but you want that? You wish it were under, basically? That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Jesse, over under.
Over.
All right. Over under
So-
4.5 marched in the top 8. I'm going to take the easy under.
Under.
Yeah, I think that's too high. Like, can we make that 3.5? So we're not just all going under without thinking. Over under 3.5 marched.
I would go over regardless, but sure.
I'm gonna go over as well.
I think under.
I think at least 2 new wall decks are in the cut.
Oh, I don't. Top 8? I
No,
don't think
no,
so.
no.
Under.
Under for me.
Are we saying
Glazer,
3 and
3.5. Over under.
3.
Glazer?
I went under.
Oh, sorry. All right.
we're talking about March to the Wall?
So let's clarify this question. Is this 2.5 decks with Hand's Judgment or 2.5 copies of Hand's Judgment?
Dex with.
Decks.
Decks with.
Yeah, obviously 2.5
where-
copies is silly, right? Like someone runs 2 and then one other person
I also agree with Chris that it is over.
gets under.
I'll say
Under.
over.
Under.
Over.
And Buzz.
Under.
All right.
3.5 copies of Valor Morgulis in the cut.
Under.
Why are these?
Brad
Yes.
says under.
Under.
I say under as well.
Under.
All right. Roy Glazer on Valor M.
Over.
All right, that lets me go under.
Ha! All right. How about the other Valor?
Under.
Over.
Under.
Over.
Roy?
I said over.
I say over as well. 4.5 Wars to Come agenda in the top 8. I will take the over.
Under.
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 Brad, Jesse, and Buzz are under.
Roy
Glazer
goes
is
over.
over. Roy and Glazer go over.
All right. Over under 3. We didn't put a number. Why does this not have a half? Is this 2.5 or 3.5?
No, it's 3.
What?
No pushing allowed. No pushing allowed. I know. It's just 3.5 seems high, and 2 seems like
Low.
2.5 seems too
All
low.
right. Over
So
or
3.
under 3 Tyrell main in the top 8. I will take the under.
Me too.
Under.
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 Over.
Jesse is only over.
Over and over under 1.5 Night's Watch. in top
Over.
8. Remember that now that we're into the factions, that you have to probably equal 8 at the end of the day. You don't have to, but it's better if you do.
But I'm definitely over here. I think 2 new wall decks make it.
I don't think 1 new wall
Under.
deck. I'm over.
Was it 1.5?
Yes.
Under.
Under. Just Nick Hansen, baby.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right. Lannister 1.5.
Under.
Take the under. That was Roy.
Yep.
All right.
Under. I think 1 Landing Crossing does make it, though.
I'm gonna say over. Going over.
Ooh.
Ooh, spicy. Guest host.
Buzz, was that an over from you too, Buzz?
Under.
Jesse, your Klansman in the
Under.
top 8? No?
Under.
Under.
I'm gonna say one of them's King Joffrey too.
Ooh.
Wow.
2.5
Oof.
Stark.
That deck is the Stones.
Um.
Under.
Over.
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 Take the under.
I think
Under.
there's gonna be 3
Under.
Stark decks.
Over under 1/2 of a Baratheon deck.
God damn.
Under.
Under.
Will
Fuck.
one Baratheon make the cut? I will take the under.
Well, because
Anyone
Brad
want
just spoiled that Nick Hansen's playing Nice Watch, so definitely
Is he?
hard.
Is he? Maybe I bet on Chase to play the wall.
Under.
Set.
Is
Anyone
anybody,
thinking of Barris making-
over on Baratheon?
No. God damn it.
All right. How about Greyjoy? 1/2 Greyjoy. I will take the over.
Under.
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 What a
Anyone
great
else want to
turn.
go over?
Anyone else over? Just me? I'm by
No.
myself?
Only Schoenthal in the cut.
All right. Now everybody knows what I'm playing. Shit.
Great
2.5
Marines.
2.5 Martell.
Under.
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 Under. I think Americans are just incompetent. Red's not coming.
I'll-
Make sure I did this right.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't even know what
everybody?
I'm gonna say over. Oh no, wait. Yeah. Yeah, over.
You taking the over?
Yeah, I'll take the over.
I will take-
Another solid number just to trigger Chris.
Yeah. Exactly two Targaryens in the top 8, over or under.
Over.
I'll take the over.
Going
Like
under.
over.
Roy's under?
Marina's insane.
Oh, only 1 Targ deck? Oh no, I gotta take the over here. 1 Targ.
Remember,
so who
2
said
is
under?
me. Blazer.
And Buzz.
And Buzz.
Marina's
Yeah.
too OP.
I agree. Brad. 2 Targ. Over under?
Over.
Over. Yep. All right. Back into some card choice ones. Most popular non-economy neutral card in top 8 decks. These questions are going to take forever.
Non-economy neutral card.
That's
Sleep.
immense.
Sleep bottom.
So if
There you
there's
go. There you
I'll
go.
pick sleep bottom.
Brad got it first.
Here's the thing. All right, so if I run 3 copies of Hand's Judgments, but like, does it count total numbers or just like does that only count as 1?
Total number.
You know what I'm saying?
I love Ravens.
Correct. That was my guess, but like people are gonna run.
No. I'm gonna take
decks
my
of
host role
Ravens.
here. It's number of decks running a copy of this card.
Yeah.
Isle of Ravens.
I'll take Seized by the Guard.
I'll take Nightmares.
Oh, fuck you. I was about to say that.
All right. Fuck you. I was about to say that. All right, next one.
I don't
All
wait.
right.
Jesse.
Jesse didn't pick his.
Either the Glazer.
Yeah, but I didn't fucking decide yet.
Oh, you can't
I'll go.
repeat?
No,
Repeat.
No repeats.
Oh.
I'll go on Beggar King.
No one said Hand's Judgment.
That's not a neutral
Oh,
card.
wait,
You
no,
mean
I'm
Begging
milk.
Brothers?
Milk. Blazer says milk. Americans are boring. Milk of the poppy.
I would have kept the Begging Brothers pick.
Jesse.
I'll go begging brother.
Love
All
it.
All right. The second most popular top 8 agenda.
I feel like it's Wars, and we all know that. So
Second most popular?
Second most? No, Wars is going to be most popular.
Cohort.
Trading with the
That's why I
Cold
said
War.
second.
Cohort. Cohort.
All right, so Roy has Cohort, Glazer has
God
Wars.
damn it.
I don't. No one can have Wars. Wars isn't going to be the second. Wars is first.
Alliance.
Woo!
going-
Spicy
I'm going-
buzz.
I'm going Crossing.
Oh, we can't
Banner.
double up here.
No.
I'll take Wars if nobody's going to take Wars.
Banner of the Stag.
Oh.
Spice.
All right.
That's how you get 'em.
Spoilers. Former Wars to Come co-host Alex Black is making a return to defend his Gen Con title.
That's right. Brad, what you got for us?
Oh my god.
Nick
Tark
Hansen-
Banner.
Green side.
Nick
Say
Hansen with a
green
green
Banner
sight.
Dragon.
I should
All
say
right.
green sight. I should say green
Green
sight. I will take green sight. Fuck it.
There you
I
Nice.
don't
go.
want Targ. I want green sight.
All right. Podcast host in the cut. This is number of podcast
So,
hosts, right?
podcast host in the top 8. I'm going to say 2. This is a number so you can repeat.
Don't know who
Three.
all those
Who was on
podcasts
3?
are.
Oh shit! No, 4. I'm going 4.
Wow.
Glazer
Half
with the
the top
aggressive
8.
4.
I think 3 people that are on this call make the cut.
I like it.
Uh,
Brad doesn't count as a host. He's a guest.
yeah.
So
Buzz likes
I'm
3.
going.
Jesse?
Like 2.
we're doing this is top 8, not top 16,
Top
right?
8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm going
I'll take-
2.
gonna
Right.
take 1.
Well, Brad's
I'm
down
gonna
to 1.
I'm gonna take
One.
3.
Thanks, Brad. I got you, dog.
Just
All
you,
right.
Jesse. You're my
Thank
only
you.
one.
Meta with most players in the cut.
Wasa.
I will
All
take-
right. Brad gets Wasa by default, right? Brad, like
Well, we
Yeah.
both do, right?
Well, you're not from West. You can take freaking Kentucky.
you can take the white squirrel.
No.
Only.
I take.
the only
If
meta.
I, if
the
I
only
can't
meta
say
that
Wa-
matters.
If I
I'll
can't say
take-
Wasa
I'll take
out,
New
then I
York
won't
City.
answer.
Take New York City. The greater New York Dragon meta.
I will take the meta of Indianapolis.
Yep, that's a good
I
one.
like it.
The whole 2 Thompsons and Ethan.
Roy
I will take
Glazer
them.
Buzz.
Hey, Luke's playing.
yeah.
Is it
Portland's
percentage based? Are we going to do like a percentage? So if like 10 people from your meta enter, but only 2 of them make it, and that's the
No.
highest number,
No,
you
it's
should
just
win.
object straight number.
Numbers.
Okay, yeah. Can I have my own town, please?
Yeah, you already got it.
Yay!
Are the DC guys going?
The new
New
DC
DC.
guys are going to be there. Yes.
Okay,
New
new
like
DC.
Martin and, only Martin and Jordan are going.
Oh,
Roy
They're
and
both
Glazer.
good though.
Martin and Jordan are staying with me.
I'm going with
I am
Canada.
going to send a great deal of love to Alejandro and Schoenthal. I'm going to say California.
Canada as one meta? Are you real? Fucking
Nope.
Americans.
No, he's
That's about
he's
right.
a Canadian. That's Matt Gaiman. He is Canadian. He's just big.
Isn't he? But he's Canadian, but he's part of the New York meta, right?
No, he's part of the Canada meta.
If he wins, he's part of the New York meta. If
Right.
he loses, he's a fucking Canadian.
All right, winning faction. Pick one. Are we allowed to repeat on the winning faction agenda?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Can't
Winning
believe I just
faction.
get to say Wausau. Rip.
Winning faction is Tyrell.
I will say Martel.
Dark.
Can we repeat here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Martel.
Pick a Night's Watch.
Laser.
I'm going with my heart, Martel.
3 Martel picks. Wow.
I've
You
Prince
fucking
Doran's
cowards.
behest as an
What?
opening.
I picked it
Have
first.
to.
Terrell's gonna win.
Winning agenda. Does anybody not want wars to come?
Yeah, I want
Give me
cohort.
green sight, baby. Give me green sight.
All right.
Secret tech.
I definitely want
This
trading with
one's
the cohort.
All right.
No,
Chelsea
this
wants
one's
Color.
Alliance.
All right. Buzz wants
Alliance.
Alliance. I want Wars.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, I'll take worse.
Cowards.
The winner, tiebreaker question, last question of the night.
Wait. We got to pick a player that wins.
That's what this is, asshole.
Winner comes from what meta? We don't make it say player. We don't do player. Remember,
I want to do
Let's do
player.
player. Let's do player.
Let's do both. Let's do meta and player.
All right,
And then you
meta
have
and
double.
All right, so we have 2 questions, meta and player. Are we answering them concurrently or separately?
concurrently.
Okay.
So wait, is your answer tied though? Can you say Wasa or Alejandro, or do you have to pick like a player from Wasa?
I think your answer should be tied, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you say the meta, and you say the person from the meta you think will win. This is particularly great for Brad. So
Right. I want New York and Scott Levine.
all right,
All right.
you can repeat on meta, but not player.
Okay, done. It's just I feel like Scott doesn't drink, so he's at a distinct advantage.
That is a fair point.
So I am going to say Jonathan Andrews, New York / unpronounceable part of Canada.
Can I go?
Yes.
Wassa. I want Chase Stolzberg.
Chud.
Ooh,
Okay.
Chudsburg.
Then I go Warsaw and Nick Hansen.
Coward! No, you didn't pick Green Site to win? What are you doing?
He's got clearly has a great alliance there.
Schoenthal, who you got?
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot.
You can pick yourself. There you
Not gonna pick myself.
If you don't stay in a group, you're out.
Well, my pick already got taken because Roy took it.
Take Sam.
There you go. Not a bad bet.
Sam with his own card.
Wrath with the triple Wasau pick.
Mr.
No,
Carpenter?
Don't.
Pick Jesse.
I like Jesse. I'll take Jesse.
He's gonna drop for fucking Haley. Don't pick Jesse.
My pick is Indy and CT.
Ooh. We know where Jesse's staying tonight.
Jesse, you're out of the group. Congratulations.
That's fair.
Nice having you. Nice having you.
CT will finally win the big tournament that he's so long deserved, but he will not
Desired,
win a
not deserved.
He's a good player.
The appropriate answer for that then would be like Seth.
No, the appropriate answer would be Ryan Leonard. Ryan Leonard would be the appropriate answer. I told him not to play his Landy deck before fucking Gen Con, and he did it anyway. I begged him not to.
And he posted it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching another train wreck of the Second Sons.
What is
Yeah.
the ADC thing that just posted?
I don't know. Spam, I think. So, welcome to the end of this episode of Second Sons. A couple of quick announcements at the end.
Yeah, that's definitely a spammer.
Kaz, I would invite all listeners and viewers of Second Sons who are going to be at Gen Con to join us at Casablanca in the Microtel parking lot on Friday night for the most famous Thrones party at Gen Con. There's Chris Schoenthal. You've been there twice now, right?
Great. I love it.
And it's great, right?
It was better
Brad,
in 2016, I'll say that.
It was yes.
It was so good last year. It was my only
amazing.
year. It was great.
It was
actually
amazing
in a-
last
it's
year.
Parking lot?
It's
like-
in a bar in a parking lot.
Oh,
It's
like
actually-
I thought we were just drinking in a parking lot. I was like, what?
that does happen afterwards. But when they
Hey,
kick
if
us out
there's,
of, like,
if
3
there's
a.m.
drinking in a parking lot, you know I'm going to be there, Brad. Don't worry
So,
about that.
Okay, yeah.
This is
I thought we were
it's
going
also
to schoolyard.
it's also doubling as part of my bachelor party, so it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a pretty big, exciting evening on Friday night after the joust, but before the cut. And your goal, of course, if you attend, is to get the people who are playing the cut to drink as much as possible, so that they oversleep. But anyway, and then of course, if you're competing at Gen Con, please come and say hi to all of us. I think if Gen Con, right, Jesse? I think at least Aaron, Chris, you and I will be very noticeable. Brad
Our
has
biggest fan in chat would like to know how late this party is going because he will be LARPing until midnight.
It goes until 2 o'clock, and then
at least 2 a.m.
Bring the
if you want-
LARPers. Then we'll have
if
a
you
real
want to
fucking party.
participate in other degeneracy, Sandy and I will be hanging out till probably around 5 a.m., I would assume.
There you go.
You can take that however you want, but 5 a.m., I would assume. Yep.
Also, we'd like to note that Platt will not be there. Okay, I thought that somebody's actual pick was already knocked out of the running for winner, but it looks like Jake Platt will not be coming to Casablanca.
I will also say, if anyone's free this Saturday, sign up for the Spiders Web online tournament. We expected a lot more. There really isn't that many people. Like, it's literally a free flight to either California or Worlds.
Absolutely.
Not kidding.
You should definitely sign up.
How many
Great
sign
to
up right now?
practice.
Even
Please
if-
feel free. Put your deck lists in your. If you plan to attend a Gen Con, put your deck list in your chat, please, before during games. If you're attending Gen Con with that deck. But one final Gen Con related thing. If you run into Sandy at Gen Con, please ask him if he is leaving us for the world of Rokukan. And he has a prize for you if you are going to, if you say hi to him. And come say hi to me. I will also have some New York City promos and stuff that I'll have for people. And if you come say and tell me that I'm your favorite second son, I will definitely give you a promo if I still have them. So
I would also note that this will be the debut of the Second Sons jerseys. They have been ordered, and I will be bringing them with me on the plane to Gen Con. So
there we go.
Looking forward to that.
So there's
How
gonna
do
be
I
a
wear
lot
both
of.
my shirts at the same time?
He'll switch in between rounds. But anyway, it's good. Oh, go ahead, Jesse.
Nope, you're good. You're good.
No,
We're good.
We're good? Cool.
Mhm.
So yeah, Gen Con is always an amazing experience. It's the heart of Thrones in North America. I want to thank our special guests, Jesse Carpenter and Brad Eamon, for joining us for what I actually think was a really quite excellent episode. I will see all of you next week, except for poor Buzz, but I will see him at Red Saturday. So until our next episode, which is our post-Gen Con episode, which is always our most watched episode besides when we talk shit about other metas, which is coming in September. Join us then.